Tech and Florida State. They are ready, and so is one of the great scenes of the game. Ready to charge onto Bobby Bowden Field at Bill Campbell Stadium. Chief Osceola, a top renegade. What do you say we play some ball, folks, as you're watching the ACC on ESPN? College football on ABC, presented by PlayStation 5, part of Marathon Conference Kickoff. Fear and hope. Fear and hope are closer than you think. Like so many, Florida State and Georgia Tech players have dealt with one and sought after the other. Put an ear to the locker room and you hear it all. Fear of a worldwide virus. Fear of systemic racism. Fear of derailing tradition-rich American pastimes. Fear that the way you look could take your breath away. And fear of close interaction in these social studies. But this game, this sport, and these players have long tackled fear. And this year, the answer must be hope. Masking a problem with eyes showing the way. Hope drives change.
I want to be that change. I want to be that guy to go out with all these tattoos on my body.
Hope gives rise to the possibilities. Hope rouses courage to confront fear. Hope coarsely states that the time is now in this seminal moment. Steamy hot day here in Tallahassee. We had the lightning delay and now we have late summer with the return to campus, which also comes with the annual rising high hopes of the team in garnet and gold. As we say, good afternoon, everybody. Thrilled you're with us. Joe Tessitore alongside Greg McElroy. And before we go any further, let's give credit to these young men, both Georgia Tech and Florida State players who took on great sacrifice in dealing with COVID and dealing with the social issues of our day to get to this point. Greg, of course, college football seemingly resetting itself, and here in Tallahassee, a blue blood power program that definitely has hit the reset button.
It's a completely different Florida State football team. When you look at Mike Norvell, what he's accomplished in his career, both at Memphis and even as a coordinator at other places, the guy doesn't stop. Relentless accountability and an attention to detail that has been missing from Tallahassee in quite some time. He takes over a team that has a lot of talent, but has fallen far shy of expectations the last couple of years because of the aforementioned missteps. Very excited to see what the Seminoles will look like under Mike Norvell.
Do they have talent? They have star power with a consensus All-America in Marvin Wilson.
He could be playing tomorrow, Tess. He could have been a first-round pick a couple months ago. However, he opted that his time here in Tallahassee was not finished. He had so much more that he wanted to accomplish to become a more well-rounded player, to become a more dominant player. He is their unquestioned leader on defense, both on and off the field, and should blossom into what is one of the best defensive tackles, if not one of the best defensive players in all of America.
Florida State won the toss. They elected to defer. The Parker Grotehouse will be kicking away. And here is Thomas on the return. Wanye tried to cut it to the left and then retreats, and look at the coverage unit. You think they're fired up to be back, driving them all the way back to the 10-yard line. That was a nice effort there by Renardo Green. Our sideline reporter today is Katie George. Good afternoon, Katie.
Good afternoon, Tess. Greg, there's no question COVID-19 has certainly made us all make some changes. Take Georgia Tech, for example. The team would usually travel on 3 to 4 buses from Atlanta to Tallahassee for today's game. Yesterday, they took 11 buses to ensure that players and coaches could properly social distance during the drive. And as masks are now required on the sidelines, Jeff Collins personally designed them. He's all for them.
So after just a 4-yard kickoff return, Jeff Sims, the true freshman quarterback, gets it out to Malachi Carter. So they're going with the true freshman quarterback, Jeff Sims. Greg, what do you make of that decision?
Very talented young man. Talking to Jeff Collins, felt as though this was a free year of development. He'll come back next year in 2021 and still be a true freshman, so got to play the young guy early.
8-yard completion to get his college career going, and then he connects with Brown. So a quick first down for Georgia Tech.
And Jeff Sims, you're going to look at him, you're going to notice the stature. He's tall, he's big, 6'3". He's well developed for a young player at 210+ pounds. Very athletic, but a really natural passer of the football from within the pocket.
There's Mason probing that right side, and then he is driven back that time hard. That was Emmett Rice, the senior linebacker from Miami Gardens, with the tackle. Jeff Sims was committed to Florida State.
I guess that's why you had to start him, right? I mean, hey, look what you could have potentially had here in Tallahassee, but he was highly regarded prospect and not the type of prospect they were bringing in under Paul Johnson a few years ago.
2nd down and 9. Mason wrestled down that time by Robert Cooper. He was one of the biggest recruits in the country just a few years ago. 6'2", 332-pound stopper in the middle of that defensive line. Be a 3rd and long for the true freshman quarterback Sims.
This is really where you can showcase that poise and experience. 3rd and long, obvious passing situation for the true freshman here.
Here's Sims, 4-man rush, able to give him protection, and then he goes underneath to Dylan Devaney. And Devaney's going to get it out to the 39-yard line, and that's going to be an 8-yard reception as they quickly get up on 4th down right to the line of scrimmage. 4th and short, and Griffin is the running back. So risk reward early, and it pays off for Georgia Tech. 1st down, Yellow Jackets.
And I love this aggressiveness early from Jeff Collins, not even thinking about it, saying, hey, let's get our offense started. Let's get them going. We have a new offensive line, a different identity from where they were a year ago. This offense struggled so much at quarterback and along the front. Right there, big 4th down conversion to build some confidence.
Jamias Griffin stays in. Play action quickly to the outside. Again, Devaney is the target, the 6'6" sophomore, the tight end from the Hun School in Medford, New Jersey.
I like this plan so far, Tess. Quick completions, mixing run pass, but more importantly, keeping the Florida State defense off balance, misdirection, showing something to the right, hitting it back to the left. It's been a good start so far for the Yellow Jacket offense.
Sims, young man from Jacksonville, Florida. He's going to keep it himself, and you see the quick feet. Jeff Sims with a good chunk play down inside the 35-yard line.
And a beautiful read on the play for the freshman. You get the jet sweep, you fake it, you see flow from those linebackers, those defenders trying to avoid handing it outside, trying to keep contained, and there goes Jeff Sims right up inside for a nice gain.
18-yard run by Sims, another 1st down. And this time he overthrows the intended target. That was Carter again. And that is the first incompletion for the true freshman quarterback. Year 2 for head coach Jeff Collins. Last year, a 3-win season. Of course, a couple years of success at Temple prior to that. He is all about upgrading the talent. Great recruiter, and he's already reshaping this roster well. Sims on 2nd and 10. Gets it to Mason, and Mason able to turn the corner. And Jordan Mason has Georgia Tech in prime position. Very fine-looking opening drive with a sharp Georgia Tech offense.
A beautiful job avoiding the defender that's right in his face. Just right over the top, easy flick, and yet another great play call from Dave Pantanode, the offensive coordinator. Getting his young quarterback out, getting him an easy completion, and turning it into a big play.
22 yards there.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Now the late flag is going to have them walking back, and Collins is looking for an explanation. We've got Marcus Woods heading up this ACC officiating crew today here in Tallahassee.
It's a big penalty right there. So much momentum right after the big play to Mason. Sometimes you see that, though. Those offensive linemen, they get bored along the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Just they want to release downfield. You got to make sure they're cognizant of where the football is and don't release a little bit too soon.
You know, it's interesting because that's really the key piece to the development of this program is the transition of the offensive line from what the offense was to what they now will be.
Georgia Tech, they're first.
Yellow Jackets have been on the march here on the opening drive. Quick timeout. We'll come right back to Tallahassee. What an incredible sports weekend, isn't it? You got the U.S. Open Women's Championship going on today. Got started 4 Eastern on ESPN. Osaka against Azarenka. And thrilling semifinals that we all watch. Of course, you can always watch that live on the ESPN app. Folks, do yourself a favor. Dial up ABC College Football. Have the app going on the side. Multi-screen it on a day like today. There is Mike Norvell, first-year head coach at Florida State, after leading Memphis to their first outright conference title since 1969. Now he comes here to rebuild Florida State. After the penalty, here is Mason, and Mason is taken down after a gain of about just 2.5. That was Josh Griffiths with the tackle for the Noles. So they were marching down the field. They get the penalty that brings them back out of the red zone, but still, you start a true freshman quarterback and you see a well-managed drive, and now trying to get out of a hole with a 2nd and 13. Sprint right for Sims, looking downfield, and it is intercepted. That is Asante Samuel Jr., and he's got a blocker in front, but he's dragged down that time by Jack DeFore, the senior lineman. But mistake number 1 for the freshman quarterback Sims. Asante Samuel with the interception.
And this is just a quarterback staring right at his target and taking the defender there as well. You're going to see him work a little wheel route. And you see Asante Samuel, he stays true to his zone. He stays to the outside. He watches the quarterback's eyes the entire way and drifts right into the pass. This is just something you learn as a young player. You have to negotiate defenders with your eyes, or else you'll see one of the best corners in all of college football make a play on it.
And now James Blackman and that Noles offense out there. And we'll start things with LaDamian Webb. It was a 38-yard return on that interception by Asante Samuel Jr.
Gain of 3, second down.
2nd and 7. And Blackman gets it quickly to Cameron McDonald, the junior tight end.
Pass complete to Cameron McDonald.
And there's weather coming into the area again. Remember, just before 3 p.m. this afternoon, we were scheduled for a 3:30 kickoff. There was a lightning strike that delayed us. 3rd down and 3. Quick pitch, Corbin. And Corbin was met right away and then worked his way to that line to make.
Excellent second effort there from Jashawn Corbin. Just a quick pitch, try to jump into leverage. And Georgia Tech was prepared for it. He rolled out of initial contact, fell forward, and converts for a big first down.
Folks, we want to let you know, because of lightning in the area, we are down to 2 cameras right now. 1st down and 10. Safety precautions being taken. Jet sweep here. This is Webb picking up a block to the outside, and he makes it down to the 33-yard line with LaDamian Webb. So we have the sky camera look that you become accustomed to, and then what we in the biz would call the high end zone. So 2 cameras working right now here in Tallahassee is for the safety of our camera people. We had to release them from other positions. 2nd down and 1. Blackman with time. Downfield and gets it complete. And once again, that is Cameron McDonald, his big target tight end. And it is 1st and goal, Noles.
I love the play. 2nd and short. Big play over the top. And look at how Blackman, eyes start to the right, work a defender away, and he throws almost like a back shoulder. And great adjustment by McDonald on the big catch.
27 yards there. Jet motion here, trying to get the edge and tiptoeing his way inside the 5-yard line that time was Webb.
And this Memphis offense that we saw for so many years now starting to obviously take shape in the garnet and gold. They're so good at making it easy on the quarterback and getting defenses to run sideline to sideline. You have to cover every square inch of this Mike Norvell offense.
2nd and goal. Blackman sprint right to the end zone. First touchdown of the year, Florida State, and it's in the hands of Keyshawn Helton. So Blackman with the touchdown pass. As the Noles special teams, they'll run out of that muddle pod look and get back into the traditional extra point formation with Parker Grotehouse, the new kicker. So what does it look like to press the reset button down here in Tallahassee? Pretty good on that first drive. Thank you very much, Mr. Helton.
College football on ABC is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits.
College football has returned, and down here in Tallahassee, so has the bad weather. Just before 3 p.m., we had a lightning delay. We didn't kick off until 4 o'clock, originally scheduled for 3:30. And right after that Helton touchdown, the pass from Blackman, and the 7-zip Florida State lead, they just made the announcement to this crowd of 19,500 allowed here into Doak Campbell Stadium that play is now being suspended with the threat of severe weather in the area. For more on that, here's Katie.
Guys, I spoke with an official who said his crew got word that we had lightning strike in the area within 8 miles. That's the radius. If it happens within 8 miles of the stadium, there is an automatic 30-minute rain or lightning delay. If we are to have more lightning from every strike, the clock resets at 30 minutes. So the hope is it was just a one-and-done situation, and we'll have the guys back out here shortly, Tess.
Junior meteorology degree earned today by Katie George. And speaking of lightning strikes, that's exactly what the turnover did to Georgia Tech, because Asante Samuel set up his offense, didn't he?
He did, and I love this play call. It's just a little rub route if you're an offensive player, and it's a defensive player. It's called a pick. Well, when you see the defender, Miles Sims, run with Helton across the field, that indicates man coverage. Well, look at the 2 receivers to the right. They're going to release inside to try to create that mesh, making it very difficult for the defender to quickly jump leverage into the flat. It's an easy throw for Blackman, and just such a perfect way to start the season for this Florida State offense, getting it to Keyshawn Helton, who's been such a big part of the spirit and the culture of this program.
And he's back healthy. Remember last year they were playing Clemson. He gets hurt when there's an interception return. He's chasing down the defender, so he could be a key part of really some upside for this offense. So this is what we are dealing with right now. Remember, we dealt with it just over an hour ago, but lightning, when it's within that 8-mile radius, they clear the field. They rescheduled the kickoff for 4 o'clock. It was a decent looking opening drive for Georgia Tech, starting the true freshman quarterback Jeff Sims up until his one mistake when Samuel had the interception, the strong return, and then right down the field came James Blackman and the Noles offense to strike first. 7-zip, just as lightning was striking, as you see off there in the far right corner of your screen. You see the ominous looking skies bubbling up to the east, and that is why play has been suspended here. Of course, these two teams have a history together, and it has been magnificent. You remember what happened in their last meeting, 2015. It was the miracle at Techwood Drive. That is when Florida State was number 9 in the country, and there were 6 seconds left, and the score was tied at 16. And then all of a sudden, Georgia Tech pulls off the miracle upset with the blocked field goal. It was a 56-yard attempt by Roberto Aguayo. And Lance Austin would run it back. 78 yards. And Greg, remember how dominant Florida State was for a stretch of ACC play there through what they had with Jameis right through 2015. They had won 29 straight ACC games prior to that.
Yeah, it was really amazing. 6-0 at the time. You referenced it. National championship hopes very much alive there for a top 10 ranked team going on the road. And we saw this time and time again with Georgia Tech over the course of Paul Johnson's tenure. They had a bunch of upsets, but not the sustained excellence. So trying to recreate those glory days there for the Ramblin' Wreck.
And on the other side here, Mike Norvell now comes in, his first year as the head coach at Florida State, in what has really been the past 3 years of extremely choppy water. And that's something that obviously for generations of Florida State fans, they're not used to. When you go through different programs and you look at the coaching list. You come down here to Florida State, and obviously a big chunk of their history and the grand history, the national championships with Bowden, then the great success with Jimbo, but Willie Taggart a couple years, now Mike Norvell. And really, you made an interesting point in assessing the mindset of some of the players. Jimbo Fisher heading off to A&M. That didn't align with the way people view themselves around this program.
Completely, and I think that was a challenging piece for Willie Taggart to figure out. He got here and focused on the future as opposed to mending some of the hurt that was currently in the present at the time. When Jimbo Fisher left for Texas A&M, if you're a Florida State person, you wouldn't think to yourself, well, Texas A&M, that's below what Florida State has traditionally been, at least in my lifetime. Well, with the money that Texas A&M has, the allure, fresh start Jimbo was looking for, it worked out well for him, but I think people took for granted a little bit associated with the program just how much of an impact that had on the players. Therefore, there's been a disconnect between the administration and the players, and it kind of bubbled over throughout the course of Willie Taggart's tenure, but now in comes Mike Norvell, trying to press the reset button like you've alluded to, trying to gain the trust and trying to create momentum with a talented roster that has kind of lost some of the accountability, trying to get it back though, and they're off to an excellent start in his debut.
Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, PlayStation 5 as part of Marathon Conference kickoff. So how do you get body paint off? Apparently you just have a massive storm come through, and we had a massive delay over an hour and 15 minutes. But folks, we got the grand pageantry back of the game with Renegade and Osceola and some excellent leaders like Marvin Wilson bringing his team together. Of course, so many issues on the minds of these young men. And then the young man, the true freshman Jeff Sims, looked good early before an interception led to this. As Helton secured the touchdown catch, made it 7-zip, and then they ran to the locker rooms because a bad storm rolled through. Our second lightning delay of the afternoon. It started pregame, and then they shut it down at 4:16 this afternoon, but now we are moments away from restarting. Greg McElroy, an hour and 15 plus in the locker rooms. I assume big advantage for the home team.
Massive. And always it's advantage to the mature team as well. So it kind of depends on how mature your group is, how many seniors, how many guys that have been in this position before. But naturally, you look at just the amenities that you have as a home team. You have access to cold tubs, hot tubs, massage tables, you name it. So naturally, just because of the sheer size of your home locker room in your home stadium, you have a pretty significant advantage coming out of the locker room after a long delay.
How challenging is it for an athlete to warm up, shut down, warm up again, play half of a quarter, then go down for an hour and 15 and have to do it all again?
A little more challenging for guys our age, Tess. We don't really get going quite like we used to. I don't think my muscles twitch quite like that, but for guys between 18 and 22, should be able to handle it just fine. And based on the energy that you saw in the warm-up, the brief warm-up, these teams will be ready to get back to it here in just a second.
And remember, kicking off because they shut it down and suspended play subsequent to the extra point by Parker Rotehouse. So here he is kicking off 7-0 Noles. Thomas again on the return. He retreated the last time, and this time he is met and brought down right away. That was great coverage that time from Stephen Dix Jr. Let's check in with Katie.
Tess, Greg, I've got to say that the energy on this side here.
Katie, descriptives we typically don't talk about with a true freshman quarterback.
Very mature and very gifted. The big part of the quarterback's development is how do you bounce back from mistakes.
Here's Sims going to pass right out of the break, and he gets it to Brown. Brown, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida. Pure speed guy, their fastest guy on the team.
Really explosive out of the slot. Their deep play threat, and that's what he was. That's almost exclusively what he was last year. But as he continues to polish and round out his game into a more well-rounded wide receiver, he's got all ACC potential written all over.
2nd and 4 after the 6-yard reception. Sims streaking down the middle and gets it complete that time to Jalen Camp. And what a big physical presence Camp is.
Oh, they're so excited about him. He was lost for the year after only 4 games. But you see the catch radius. That ball's off target. That ball's thrown way behind Camp. However, he's able to turn his body with ease without slowing major momentum and secure it for his young quarterback in a nice play.
23-yard reception for Camp. Sims again wants a shot downfield, underthrew it as he was looking Camp's way again. And the coverage came from Akeem Dent.
Oh my goodness, this is one as a quarterback that will haunt you forever. Camp was wide open, it was a blown coverage. Akeem Dent was short. He stayed in the flat thinking it was going to be a cover 2. He'd have safety help over the top. I think the receiver that time, Camp, was just too open. The quarterback guided it to him as opposed to throwing it.
2nd and 10. And flags come down right away.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 70. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, that's Ryan Johnson, the right guard, who came over to Georgia Tech as a grad transfer this year from Tennessee. He had a good amount of experience playing for the Vols, started 19 games there in Knoxville.
And kind of a tone setter up front, too. I mean, a guy that will get after you and might not always be, on the up and up. He's a physical dude. He's going to finish the play. He's going to play through the whistle. And Jeff Collins said, I love it, man. We need some guys up front. We need some dogs in the trenches. We really do. We got to have some guys that will fight you every single snap, and they're hoping that Ryan Johnson can be that guy at right guard.
2nd penalty against Tech this afternoon. 2nd and 15. That may be a live ball for a moment there, but they say no, incomplete, as he tried to get it to Jordan Mason. A reminder that it's number 1 Clemson against Wake Forest tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on ABC and the ESPN app. It'll be interesting to see how Trevor Lawrence starts his season.
Well, if he starts it like he played in the second half of last season, I mean, he's your favorite for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, given the fact that Justin Fields not participating at Ohio State, I think Trevor Lawrence, without question, is the favorite heading into the season. However, will he avoid the mistakes that plagued him early on in the 19 campaign?
3rd and 15. Sims trying to shake free, and he is met right near the line of scrimmage as Emmett Rice and the rest of the Noles defense surrounded Sims. So Tech 0 for 3 on 3rd downs in their first 2 drives as Sims trots off. And big Presley Harvin, the 255-pound senior punter from Sumter High School in South Carolina, comes on. Travis Jay back for the Noles as Harvin puts this inside the 5, where Jay makes a decision to bring it out. And he made the most of it as he's brought down near the 20-yard line. So the continued development of James Blackman, this his 30th career game.
How about this?
Loose in pregame, having some fun. Boy, you think he's got? You think he could be there on the outside? He's got that 6'5" wingspan, and
it's one of the every quarterback. Hey, I got the best hands on the team. Every quarterback thinks that. Well, that actually, Blackman with that catch, he actually might have a case.
Yes,
that was impressive, and the toe drag in the back left corner as well.
Freshman Toafili in the backfield with him. Blackman going to set up the screen. And working his way is Toafili, the true freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida. The coaches are very high on his upside. Quez Jackson with the tackle after a gain of 12.
I love the play call. Georgia Tech's all fired up, coming out of the rain delay. What are they going to do? They're going to try to rush the passer with tremendous intensity. How do you slow that down? Little screen at the backside. Really nice call there.
Pressure off the edge, picked up by Toafili. Blackman brings it down, and he's going to tuck and run and glide his way to settle in at the 39-yard line. We had a nice talk with Mike Norvell about where he expects James Blackman to take those steps forward. And Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, they say really it comes down to the mechanics. He's got that habit of not always finishing his throw.
He's so naturally gifted. His feet get a little wide. He gets a little deliberate with how he delivers the football and needs to learn how to finish to get all the velocity he can on every throw.
2nd and 3. Blackman sets up the screen to Corbin. And Corbin will surge ahead for the first down.
And back to the fundamentals. The tough thing about this offseason for not just Blackman, but for so many quarterbacks, and young quarterbacks in particular, you didn't have as much time to focus on the fundamentals. You weren't able to get that hands-on coaching, and it's really, really tough to change your mechanics throughout the season. So you got to find that balance over the course of the fall.
Here's Corbin, and he has met that time at the 45-yard line. You know, certain realities when it comes to what Jeff Collins' team is dealing with defensively, and today they are without 3 starters. Antonius Clayton, the defensive end, Jamedza, the defensive tackle, and Trey Swilling, a starting cornerback.
Watch the all-out pressure here for Georgia Tech.
2nd and 8. Straight up the middle, launching it downfield. And it was intended for Terry, but it's incomplete, and it'll make for a 3rd down and 8.
This is a great check from Blackman. Look at the defense, all right? That's just a flat top across the board, which means pressure. All out, cover 0. Blackman gets into the correct check. Pressure isn't great. The protection not great, but still a pretty good throw, taking a chance. I like the adjustment. That's Blackman's maturity there, being able to change it on the fly and get to the optimal play. Just got to make a little bit better throw, and you might have yourself a touchdown.
3rd and 8. A-gap pressure picked up. Blackman checks underneath to Corbin, and Corbin dances his way for a 1st down and more. Jay Sean Corbin, the transfer from Texas A&M.
Just a beautiful job by Blackman. We talk about pressure. How about this? This time he's got to find the hot route, which means there's no one blocking the end man on the line of scrimmage. So what does he have to do? He's got to beat it with the throw. He does that and leads to a big play. All part of the maturation. Very exciting here in Tallahassee.
17 yards there, and now Blackman, he's looking for a block from Corbin, who sets up a nice wall, allowing Blackman to dive ahead, and the Noles are on the move again.
So much has been made about Florida State's offensive line and their struggles. Well, the quarterback at times, Blackman especially, has held it a little too long. Man, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Understanding the strength of your protection. Understanding at the same time the weakness of your protection. He's been decisive. He's gotten the ball out of his hands. And as a result, he has the Seminoles knocking on the door yet again.
Not a good sign for that front of Georgia Tech. Jaquan Griffin is down, so we'll take a break while they tend to him.
Seminoles on the move, in large part due to James Blackman. Look, he's taken a lot of hits over the course of his career. So many times that offensive line has been a little leaky, but he's hung in there. He's gotten better, and he's starting to be a little bit more in rhythm with when he gets rid of the football. At times, he would hold it just a little too long, but helping that offensive line out a lot now.
Webb struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Remember, Georgia Tech had Griffin, the defensive tackle, walk off the field after the last play. Medical timeout. They're already without TK Jamedza, starting interior lineman, and most undoubtedly, the guy who gives them pressure off the edge, Antonius Clayton, is also out today, senior defensive end. So they're going to need folks to step up front. 2nd and 11, and the whistle blows, and the flag comes in.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, second down.
So a good start for James Blackman today. 6 of 7, 68 yards. The touchdown pass that we saw to Helton. And here an 8-play drive. It's gone 53 yards.
And what's most encouraging is just how in control he looks. And he's got an answer for pressure. He's been decisive with the football and has been very accurate.
First penalty against Florida State this afternoon. 2nd and 16. Blackman to the sidelines and complete to Marion Terry, who was named All-ACC preseason first team with the reception.
I think he's about to have a big year. He always has a big year, right? I mean, Scary Terry, it's an appropriate nickname just given how scary he is for defenses. But now, given the emergence of some of the other stars at wide receiver, he might get one-on-one looks there for Terry, which is a real problem if you're a defense trying to cover him.
3rd down and 8. Blackman, and he gets it complete for a first down as he finds Warren Thompson. Now, we know all about Terry, but Warren Thompson could really be the X factor on this team. But here's what I find interesting with Tamarion Terry. This is a guy that when you look at what he is and his downfield ability, he could have gone off to the pro. But he wants to develop more as a more fully evolved receiver.
Yeah, and when he arrives, he's going to have more success in the NFL as a result of that development.
1st and goal. Blackman, plenty of time. Look to find something underneath, but it goes into the ground. Be 2nd and goal.
Second down.
Prior to the play, we got buzzed by replay. The previous play is under further review.
And throw probably going to look and see whether or not Warren Thompson was able to secure that catch as he was going to the ground. So late buzzer. Let's see.
Well, does he have both arms securing the ball, or does the ball hit the ground and have movement?
And you see that ball. It can hit the ground, but it has to be secured. So seeing it hit the grass right there, not necessarily assured to be incomplete. Is the ball moving as he goes to the ground? It does look like that ball is moving too.
Got to have firm control if the ball is making contact with the ground. And you can see that movement there, and then tip of the ball hitting the turf. And we have Marcus Woods heading up this ACC crew today here in Tallahassee.
One more look at it, and of course, like you alluded to, Tess, does he have firm control? And does he maintain that control? It's really difficult to tell, as you can see right there, the football.
Well, you see the space between the right arm, correct, and the ball, and then you can always look at that white stripe and see if there's movement clearly with that nose of the football. In that case, there was. Peter Voss is our replay official. Marcus Woods, the referee. As Coach Collins and Coach Norvell look on. There are 2 drives into this new look Florida State offense, and you really get a sense as to where Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, are taking things.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. There's a really nice rhythm right now. Maybe the execution not all the way there yet, but the rhythm keeping Georgia Tech's defense off balance has been encouraging.
Review, the ball hit the ground as a result of incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down from the 19-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 40 seconds. 1 minute, 40 seconds.
So on Trout's Parker Grotehouse, junior kicker from Indian Lake, Ohio, who has never attempted a field goal at the college level. Has made 6 PATs now in his career. a kickoff specialist a year ago. "37-yard attempt for Grothaus." Flag is down as Grothaus puts it through.
Georgia Tech 0.
Illegal formation, defense. That penalty decline. Result will feel good. It's good.
And thus Grothaus has his first college field goal, a 37-yarder. And Florida State has a 10-zip lead. And this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you to All-State. Been a long time since we didn't have an Aguayo brother kicking field goals at Florida State, but now we have Parker Grothaus.
Yeah, I had to check my board again. You said Grothaus is on. Hang on a second, Ricky.
You sure there's not a third brother?
Yeah, let's just double check one more time. Yep, that is Grothaus. Okay.
Of course, for Georgia Tech fans, they don't mind an Aguayo brother kicking a field goal. They remember the 2015 miracle of Techwood Drive when the 56-yard attempt that was blocked and brought back for one of the most memorable touchdowns in program history, the 78-yard return for the game winner. So James Blackman is 7 of 9 for 76 yards, the touchdown, led the team on a field goal drive there.
It's going to be important for Georgia Tech to answer here. Right now, Florida State, Blackman's seeing the field. They're mixing run pass. He's getting the ball out of his hands. Georgia Tech defense might be a little gassed too, because they just had to deal with a pretty long drive there from the Seminoles. So it's going to be important here now for Georgia Tech to get some rhythm going back into their game, both on the ground and through the air.
Dante Smith casually struts out after a yard deep in the end zone, but he is able to get out just past the 20-yard line.
Smith on the return.
So Jeff Sims, who, as we told you, was committed to Florida State. And then there was the coaching change here in Tallahassee, so he decommitted. He's from Jacksonville, Florida, went to Sandalwood High. And made his way to early enroll for head coach Jeff Collins. And boy, they say with his height and his stature and his maturity, they think a very bright future ahead, as this is a very good run from Jordan Mason, who moved into the primary running back role in this more conforming pro-style system last year.
And this can be huge. They got to take a little pressure off Sims. They got to get the running backs going. That's their strongest, deepest, most talented position. They got to get Mason going along with Griffin and Smith.
10-yard run and then tackled for a loss. That was a nice effort there from Amari Gaynor. And many feel he could be one of the breakout players on this Florida State defense this year.
Yeah, just coming right off the edge on the right side of your screen. You see Sims doesn't even see the backside presence. He was down before the play even gets started. Good play defensively.
2nd and 13. Sims running out of time. And as he has shown us, pretty good legs to find the most of his as he gets to the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down from there. Who's met by Dix.
And a good job there getting back to a 3rd and manageable. Now you have the option to run or throw. Let's see if they get a little mesh concept here. Maybe a little rub out into the flat to give a free runner.
3rd and 4. Sims right at that line to make, and then muscling ahead that time is P.J. Harris. And P.J. Harris at 6'3", 220 is a really nice settle into that pocket target.
And that was a really
find that little spot.
Absolutely, that was a really good call too. That was a mesh concept where you saw crossing routes right over the middle of the football. It's good against both man and against zone. That time it was zone. You saw the receiver hold up, make it for a big old target for Sims, and a nice conversion for the freshman.
Well, it's a whole new normal in college football. 19,000 plus fans here, and they like the score here at the end of one. 10-zip Knowles. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back to Doak Campbell Stadium, where Florida State has a 10-point lead over Tech here at the start of the second quarter. Have you ever heard the saying, what is old is new? Take a look at this. Back in 1918, Georgia Tech football played in a game in Atlanta as fans looked onward from the stands spread out to a degree with masks on, navigating their way through the Spanish flu. Just over 100 years later, here we are looking quite the same, now working through the realities test of the coronavirus pandemic.
History lesson, Katie George. I love it. Jalen Camp with the reception there of 7 yards after Sims was able to connect to Malachi Carter. And you go back, you see the old black and white photos, folks in masks. Georgia Tech playing over 100 years ago. Here they are on the road in the middle of the pandemic, opening up their season. 2nd and 3, going to be about a yard short. Flag comes in. Jordan Mason with the carry there.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist. Offense, number 83, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Big concern right now for Florida State. Joshua Kando is down. He's coming off a leg injury. Huge upside to what he can offer. We'll take a quick break.
I want to go back to the injury to Joshua Kando. As you see the tight end there for Georgia Tech, Devaney, coming across the formation. He initiates contact with Kando, and that left leg stayed stationary, and you see the emotion for Joshua Kando. This young man, it's just there's sometimes you're in this industry and you get to know these kids and you get to know their story. And I just feel sick. I feel absolutely sick. And you see the emotion on his face. He has worked so hard to come back on so many different occasions. Man, we're praying for you, Joshua. Hope everything's okay, but just a scary looking hit there to his left knee.
And keep in mind, last year he was injured at UVA. That was week 3, and he missed the entire season. After the penalty, it's a 2nd and 18. Sims streaking down the sideline, and Ezzard will put them in prime position to respond here down to the 5-yard line. 45 yards, Sims to Ezzard.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful job working against Janaris Robinson. Robinson's really got it kind of meant to rush the passer. That time he drops in coverage. He kind of loses sight of where Ezzard's at.
1st and goal. Mason. As Mason is able to get to the 3-yard line. A flag is down and a helmet is off. And that is Marvin Wilson, who is trotting off the field and taking his helmet back.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 70, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's Ryan Johnson.
May remain in the game.
Ryan Johnson, who we mentioned, the big addition to this offensive line from Tennessee.
And this is a really big matchup in the trenches. The right guard working against Marvin Wilson. And you look at that left hand right there in your middle of your screen. Johnson's hand gets up a little high, and you see the helmet obviously fly off. It's a great call by the official. Just shows you how disruptive Marvin Wilson can be as he crosses face.
But this is where coaches pull their hair out. 1st and goal, and you grab that penalty that now puts the ball back at the 20.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
And the goal now, though, falls back. Next play, next play, next play. What is the next play? I got to get halfback. Got to get halfback here.
And Mason will drive it ahead to the 14-yard line. So after that 45-yard catch by Marquez Ezzard, and then the retreat with the penalty, it is 2nd and goal from the 14. And they'll run it again with Mason, and it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 12. And you think about the price you pay with that Ryan Johnson penalty. By the way, his 2nd of this first half.
Huge penalty, and two, you have a young quarterback. The windows are so small in the red zone. Do you think, hey, we just got to come away with points here? Do you get aggressive, or do you lean maybe more on the side of being a little conservative? I, for one, with a young quarterback who's already made a mistake in this game, I'd go conservative, settle for 3.
3rd and goal. Underneath and down at the 5-yard line is Carter. So the 10th play of the drive just to get it back to the 5-yard line.
And I like the play call too. It's conservative, easy throw, easy read for your quarterback. See if you can get Carter running and moving. Maybe he breaks a tackle and he sneaks into the end zone, but that way it's simple. Nothing bad can happen from it. I think it was a good call there by Dave Patton, noted Georgia Tech offensive coordinator.
So Jude Kelly, the true freshman kicker. It is blocked. Welcome to big-time college football, young man. True freshman starting his career on ABC at Florida State. And that's what happens in his first college attempt. Mike Norvell's teams, special teams, emphasized. Going up strong, Marvin Wilson and the rest of that front. And Georgia Tech denied.
College football presented by PlayStation 5 on ABC is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit, and Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow.
All the COVID protocols and procedures here in Tallahassee on campus, all to arrive here to game day. James Blackman trying to extend the play, and he will throw it away. And you're watching this game and you say, hey, it sounds and looks a little different than the football we've seen so far this year, and that's because they've allowed 19,500 fans to come into the game with these Doak Campbell Stadium COVID policies. Now, as of a week ago, they were planning on having tailgating. They scratched that, but still, you went around town, you saw some private lots where folks were doing the traditional tailgate. Here's Webb now, not much there at all, as he was met and driven back. That was Mike Lockhart getting pushed back there up front for Georgia Tech. Third down and 8. Blackman looked for a streaking shot that time to Thompson, but it wasn't there as he threw it to the outside. And the Georgia Tech defense does their job, and the punt team will trot on out.
Excellent answer from the Georgia Tech defense. So far up until this point, Florida State's been able to do what they want offensively, both on the ground and through the air, and the protection has been sound. That time, the coverage was solid. There wasn't anywhere for Blackman to go with the football. That was an excellent bounce back right there from this Yellow Jacket defense.
Alex Mastromano, the freshman from Melbourne, Australia, on to punt away. And the big Aussie will have it fielded by Blanqueto as he returns it out to the 39-yard line. Reminder, Sunday Night Baseball is coming your way. We got Stros and Dodgers playing a second game of a 2-game set. Sunday Night Baseball, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN.
As a diehard Dodger fan, I'm seeking revenge from the World Series a couple of years ago. Like I think this is our year, Tess. I say that every year. You know, every year. I think since I was born, 1988, we haven't won it.
You got some Southern California roots, and then of course your high school glory days in Texas, and then the pride of the Tide. And you're well traveled as a sports fan, my friend.
Yeah, but Dodgers have never left me from birth, from childhood.
Mason taken down in the backfield. A flag is down as well, as Leonard Warner and Deloach were able to meet up with him there.
Offside, defense, number 11, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
There's J-Rob, Janaris Robinson, who led Florida State in tackles for loss a year ago. I agree with you. It's tough to see the emotion with Kendo leaving the field with an apparent leg injury. The other starting defensive end for the Noles is the ultimate get off the bus first defensive end. I mean, just looks the part, but he has struggled with the leg injuries now for the better part of the past year. First down and 5 after the penalty. Sims turns the corner, has the first down, gets a good block and a little bit more, and a flag is down just beyond midfield.
Flag on the play.
As that was Jordan Mason sealing that block. 15 yards as it stands for now.
Personal foul, illegal block with on the way. Offense number 27, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And they will tag Mason with that block.
And this is an adjustment too. I mean, because this is a new rule, it's a new point of emphasis. Downfield blocking below the waist is now a penalty, and that's something that we've been doing forever. I remember even a few times in my college career where I would be on the wrong side of a cutback lane and I would all of a sudden go to a guy's legs, just try to cut him, try to get in front of him. So it's going to take some teaching, and given the fact that we haven't had a full spring and maybe a full complement of fall practice, guys are still getting used to the new rules.
Some pressure on Sims, and he is able to loft it away. That was Leonard Warner coming in on Jeff Sims.
This is now a few times, though, for Georgia Tech where they've had a nice play, they've had a moment, they've had a chance to take advantage of something that they did offensively, only to be stopped by penalties. They have to clean these things up. They're not talented enough yet at this point of their program's arc to be able to overcome big missteps.
This is Griffin on 2nd and 11. As Griffin was out there in front and able to turn the corner for 7 yards. He was the former Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia. He was originally committed to NC State and then was sold on Coach Collins coming on board and flipped to Georgia Tech. 3rd down and 4. As Griffin flanks the true freshman Sims. And Sims going to keep it himself, has to dance his way ahead, and in doing so reaches out for that line to gain.
But great effort there by Sims. He's big, he's tall. You'd think he's more of a long strider, but showcasing a little bit of that lateral agility that made him such a highly regarded prospect. As we take a look at Josh Kendo, who's walking on his own power. And I'm just hoping the best for him. I want to see 13 back out there as soon as possible. I know his teammates do as well, as you see that brace on his left leg.
Mason wiggles free. And a good chunk play for Georgia Tech. Let's go to Kevin.
Zip pass, complete to Mason. First down, Georgia Tech.
Thank you, Kevin. Ian Book with 263 yards passing today. As this is complete to Sanders. Adonicus Sanders with the reception there from Jeff Sims. You know, Jeff Sims, you talk about true freshman quarterback, you say, well, an early enrollee, so he gets a jump start. Not during COVID.
Right.
Remember, spring was cut short. Guys were sent home, so not the case. So this is even more impressive that he's out there. Now he goes to the other side to Jalen Camp. And Jalen Camp will move the chains. Jalen Camp, who is such a great athlete at 6'2", 220 pounds. And now tempo from Dave Patenaude, the play caller for Georgia Tech. Sims. That is intercepted. And once again, it's Asante Samuel Jr. Can you believe this? 2 times Jeff Sims brings Georgia Tech down the field in this first half, and 2 times Asante Samuel Jr. picks him off.
Another mesh concept. You're going to see it right here, but the eyes of Asante right in the backfield. He's waiting for it. Picks it off like stealing candy from a baby as Seminoles take over.
Hardest working players brought to you by Duluth Trading Company.
Is there anyone else?
No.
Asante Samuel Jr. making his dad proud, man. The interception early, reading the eyes of the true freshman quarterback, just drifting into the wheel route, picking it off, and then this one was stealing. Looking yet again in zone coverage right into the backfield where Jeff Sims takes him straight to the ball, hopping in front of that crossing route. Beautifully done by the excellent corner.
There's some motion pre-snap.
False start. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So 2 interceptions in the first half. A couple years ago, Levante Taylor did that for Florida State at Florida back in November of 2017. And now here is Asante Samuel Jr. with 2 picks in the first half to start his season. Stack formation left as Webb goes in motion, and they'll pass out of it. A little bit of pressure, but Blackman with those legs able to free himself, and it should have been caught that time by Warren Thompson.
At some point, I want to see this Florida State offense start to put it on the ground a little bit. They've gotten James Blackman into a nice rhythm. The receivers have all gotten started, gotten some looks. At some point, they got to start establishing this run with Corbin and Webb.
Only have 44 rushing yards so far. They're going to swing it to Corbin. And that is an extension of the running game for this team as he gets it to the 46-yard line.
Terry also, for the most part, has been relatively quiet. Now, they're going to move him around, and here in a third down situation, you're going to see him here at the top of your screen as he tries to get set.
Well, this is the down and distance where you want Terry. He's only been targeted 3 times, 1 catch, 8 yards. And it's not good when everybody moves except for the center.
False start. Offensive line. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
All y'all. Just everybody.
Everybody. They have to get a little rhythm back. I mean, Florida State's kind of moping around, just kind of stagnant, not the same level of energy that we saw those last few drives that have been successful. At some point, I mean, they needed one of the leaders offensively to kind of step up and say, hey, man, let's get this thing going a little bit.
3rd and 16. We'll see who steps up in a spot like this. Blackman, plenty of time. Ran out of options and throws a pickoff. Quez Jackson. That was just served up for Quez, and he said, yeah, I'll take it, thanks. Flag is down at the 43-yard line. Those are the kind of errors that they're trying to have Blackman avoid. Be more consistent. Immediately a talk with Mike Norvell.
An interception. After the play, personal foul. Lay hit on the passing team, number 55. 15-yard penalty. First down.
This is just a case of Blackman just trying to do too much. Look, sometimes the defense wins. It happens. Great protection. He steps up, doesn't like it. He moves outside the pocket, and there he is just trying to force it. On 3rd and super long, sometimes the best outcome is actually an incompletion. Right there, for as well as he's played throughout the first 25 minutes of this ball game, Blackman right there making a catastrophic mistake, just trying to do a little bit too much. Just throw that ball away, say uncle, punt it away. Your defense is playing well. Instead, he tries to force it, and it leads, makes a bad play worse. And here comes Georgia Tech knocking on the door just outside the 20-yard line.
And down to the field to Katie George we go.
Guys, prior to that interception, this offense on Georgia Tech's sideline was looking bleak, very down on themselves. Nobody was talking. It was almost quiet over here. And then the interception happens, and everybody is re-energized and on their feet.
Well, you got to do something with it, and instead, it's a sack.
Well, that's one way.
Gainer and Woody.
That's one way to get a little energy. Watch this pressure all out. Hey, we're not going to get any from our offense. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the heat. Little all-out cover zero pressure as the safety gets home. Right there, quarterback Sims, freshman, got to understand when they're trying to manufacture some of that energy, sometimes it comes by way of the blitz. You got to find the football.
And that was Raymond Woody coming in hard there, as well as Gainer. Now that front is responding. Offense turns it over. Defense decides to become a wall. Steven Dix, again, the true freshman from Orlando. He was an early enrollee as well.
Right here, another really difficult spot, too. And knowing that your kicker's struggling, I mean, do you think about potential four-down territory depending on how much you gain? Kicker's a freshman, had one blocked already, so maybe you screen him here. See if you can't gain half of it back, make it interesting.
3rd down and 15. Sims looking to escape the pocket. He does, but here comes the pursuit. As Sims is run out. And it'll be 4th down from there.
You gain 5 or 6 more, and it's 4th and 3, you might think about it, but here, 4th and 9, can't do it. You got to shore up that protection. Sure, your kicker too, Tess. It wasn't his fault that last ball got blocked. It really wasn't. It was leakage on the left side of the field goal protection. So you got to shore that up, and hopefully your kicker will deliver your first points of the season.
So out comes Jude Kelly, true freshman. Blocked again. Same spot, same place. 2 blocked field goals for Florida State. Marvin Wilson is getting a surge, and J-Rob Janaris Robinson was getting up as well. And what a nightmare first half for the true freshman kicker Kelly. And still, that humbling goose egg on the scoreboard for the Yellow Jackets. Denied. Big Marvin Wilson says, "You're not getting that, my friend." Joe, Greg, and Katie with you back here in Tallahassee. 10-0 Noles. Here's Corbin, and Corbin is met in the backfield as Brooks comes up with the tackle. Jude Kelly, between the ops time and the need to elevate and that left side of the line having to protect, it has been a rough go of it. 2 field goal attempts, 2 blocked field goals for Florida State. 2nd and 12. And this is Corbin again. It'll be about a 3rd and 8 from there.
I'd like to see a little more of this from Florida State, man. I mean, hey, your quarterback just threw a bad interception, and they haven't once really tested the middle of this Georgia Tech defense. I want to see their running backs go north and south on all the drives moving forward, especially too, if they can get a conversion here on 3rd and medium.
Blackman on 3rd and 8. 4-man rush. Blackman extending to the right and throws it away.
And that might not look like a good play, but for the quarterback, considering the mistake you just made by throwing it to the other team and being flushed to your right, hey, we can live with that. Like, that's progress. That's not making the same mistake twice. Blackman there allowing his punt team to now go on, but they got to find some answers offensive, and I think it comes by way of trying to run the ball north and south, which they have yet to really commit to at this point of the game.
So the Aussie Mastromano will drive this ball down to about the 20, and that's where Ezzard will take it from there as he quickly gets beyond the 30-yard line. And now for today's Aflac trivia question. James Blackman, second quarterback in Florida State history to throw at least 3 touchdown passes in 5 straight starts. We asked you, which Noles quarterback in history was the first?
There's just too many good ones to choose
Well, they
from.
have. Great history, right? 3 touchdowns in
unbelievable.
5 straight starts.
I'm going to go with Jameis Winston.
Now, don't you do radio every day with Danny Cannell?
I do, but I would never pick him for that stat.
Griffin struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage. Leonard Warner in that middle linebacker spot brings great leadership to this group. He started all 11 games of his season last year. You know what I like about Warner? Adam Fuller, defensive coordinator, said to us, guy comes up to him and says, listen, how can I get better?
Yeah.
That's all I want. How can I get better? And you hear that out of a senior, you got to like that attitude. There's Griffin again, this time on 2nd and 10, and he found that seam. And he'll have them in a 3rd and a long one. Griffin flanking Jeff Sims. And he will move the chains for Georgia Tech.
Now, if you're Georgia Tech, 2 minutes on the clock, no need to get into hyperspeed, but start to think about it. Remind your young quarterback, hey, in a play or 2, we might be entering into a 2-minute situation. You've done a great job so far of keeping the chains moving. Now we just got to avoid the big mistake and the big penalty that sets us off schedule. But if I'm offensive coordinator Dave Pentnode, I'm disappointed with the output and the mistakes, but I've been moving the ball pretty consistently throughout the game.
First down, just over 2 minutes here in this first half. That was dangerous as it went off the hands of Brown. And he had Jones coming in trailing right behind him. Nice to hear a band again, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Just the sound of big-time college football in one of the big Southern football cathedrals. Yes, a limited capacity, but just to hear that band playing again. Welcome home. Sims escapes for a moment, turns the corner, and is able to wiggle his way to midfield. He has some escapability.
Yeah, he can move. I mean, he really can. I've been really impressed with the way he's moved around the pocket and has found some opportunities with his legs. Now, the accuracy's been excellent, but there is one part of his game that he's going to have to iron out, because he can run it, he can throw it with accuracy, but the decision making has got to improve, and that's going to. Over the course of time, he's only going to get better, only going to get sharper, and his ability to see the field and digest the field will improve exponentially over the next few years.
True Thompson, who was down at the end of that play. Well, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. We were lauding the efforts of James Blackman as he had 3 touchdown passes. 5 straight starts in his Florida State career. Does have a touchdown pass today as well. And he's the second Noles quarterback to ever do that. 3 touchdown passes in 5 straight starts. You got to go all the way back to 68. Capelman. And you think about the modern history of the Noles, all the great players.
Bill Capelman, 3 consecutive touchdown passes in 68. That's pretty ridiculous when you really think about it. In 68, there basically was no pass interference. Like, just tackle the receivers, let's figure it out. I mean, that is remarkable.
Third down and 3, and that should have been picked off. Emmett Rice, right in his hands, and was thinking pick 6 all day.
And another mistake there from the true freshman Jeff Sims that was nearly catastrophic. Late on the outbreaking route, you just can't do it. Players in the ACC will undercut that all day long. Very fortunate that wasn't to the house.
And the big-legged Presley Harvin back out there, punting away. Travis Jay will put his heels on the 10-yard line. And this goes off to the side as Harvin struggled to get a hold of that and turn that ball over. He's not going to be happy with that effort. Extremely talented punter who went for 44.8 average last year. Only goes for 26 yards there, so Florida State will take over at the 24-yard line.
A good opportunity now to work your 2-minute with an abbreviated camp, missing out on some summer conditioning, missing out on spring. This is a massive opportunity here for Florida State to work some rhythm, to try to establish an identity within one of the most important situations, 2-minute football, and a chance now for James Blackman to kind of get back to that rhythm that he had in the early going when he was seeing the field beautifully and throwing stripes.
Opening drive came right down the field, had the touchdown pass to Helton, and led them on a field goal drive. Plenty of time, wants it downfield. Oh, and Terry had every bit of it but the glory end.
Oh my goodness. This does not happen very often. You got Tamorion Terry working a corner route against a flat-footed safety and Tariq Carpenter, who's 240 pounds, more of a run-stopping safety. They got the matchup they want. It was a beautiful throw. It was a beautiful design. And Terry not able to bring that one in. Just a shocking drop from their most reliable wide receiver.
Dante Lucas is down, the starting left guard. But, I mean, Terry, and this is a guy, that is what he does. The downfield receptions. Remember, he had the 91-yarder in the Sun Bowl last year. That was the 7th longest pass completion in Florida State history. He's had 5 touchdowns over 70 yards at Florida State.
And if you're a quarterback, you're just walking right over to Terry and you're saying, hey man, dude, you're one of the best in the country. Guess what? I'm coming right back to you. Like, first opportunity I get to go your way, I'm coming right back to you, because I know 99 times out of 100 you're going to reel it in. So I'd love to see James Blackman go over there, talk to his guys. Hey man, chin up. We got this. We're going to get this again. We're going to get you back in rhythm and find you another opportunity downfield.
Saw the reminder that Clemson is coming up tonight at Wake. They got the 19-game ACC winning streak heading into that opener at Wake Forest. That'll be your way at 7:30 right here on ABC. Maybe at 7:30 right here on ABC. Of course, we have been sitting here with lightning delays for the better part of the afternoon. Good sign to see Dante Lucas get up, sophomore who played his ball at IMG Academy down in Tampa area. Big news in the ACC is that the rivalry game between UVA and Virginia Tech that was scheduled for September 19th is now moved to September 26th. There were COVID issues concerning Virginia Tech. North Carolina is a little north of a trendy pick this year, and they look the part against Syracuse. Sam Howell, who many think is one of the emerging stars in the sport, went for nearly 300 yards. And then, as we told you, Travis Etienne and Clemson will be headlining our night action tonight. Here is Webb on 2nd and 10. 3 timeouts remain for Florida State, as we've got 90 seconds to play in this first half.
No need to play fast right now. You referenced 3 timeouts, but also 3rd down. Once you pick this 3rd down up, if you're Florida State's offense, then you start to work those 2-minute fundamentals with some tempo and hurry up.
3rd and 3 for Blackman. And he just settles in on that line to gain and hooks up with Cameron McDonald.
Really surprised to see how soft the coverage was there from Georgia Tech. They gave 6-7 yards of cushion on a 3rd and 3. That's an easy completion, and here we go. Florida State 5 wides, getting into their 2-minute operation.
Number 3 timeouts as that clock counts down to 51 seconds here. Blackman. And this time he does connect downfield, and it's to Warren Thompson. So the Noles are in business. Stop the clock to move the chains. 3 timeouts in the bag and marching.
Excellent throw, one high coverage. You're able to throw that seam route right into one of the voids of the zone. Excellent throw and catch, and a great answer there from Thompson, who'd had a case of the dropsies a little bit earlier in the game.
24-yard reception for Warren Thompson. A timeout used by the Noles. You know, so many question marks concerning the offensive line. You know what it's been in recent years at Florida State. But no question mark when it comes to the skill positions. And you see with what Thompson can offer, what Helton can offer. Remember, he had the touchdown pass and catch earlier. And knowing Terry and how explosive he is downfield, the complement of running backs, and if Blackman can play more matured with his physical gifts, they are dynamic at the skill position.
They are, and you have to also be encouraged by the growth that we've seen along the offensive front. I mean, more often than not, Blackman, there have been a few moments where there's been a little pressure, maybe a little leaky in the protection, but all in all, he's had ample time to find guys downfield. He's been able to do so more often than not.
39 seconds, trying to add to the lead here before halftime. Shovels it ahead, and Corbin secures it. Coming up at halftime, we'll hear from Kevin Nagandi, Mark Sanchez, and Booger McFarland. They're in the studio for the State Farm halftime report. Some shockers earlier today with what we saw, including a top 25 team going down. Florida State down to one timeout now with 27 seconds. It'll be a 2nd and 7 when they get back over the ball. Was not a good day earlier today for the Big 12, was it, Greg?
It was not. Not with Kansas State falling. And then, of course, top 25, Iowa State. A lot of people thinking that the Clones could make some noise this year. Well, they didn't make much noise there in Jack Trice. After University of Louisiana, and Billy Napier gets a massive win on the road for his program.
Bobbled the snap. Blackman then secures it. And an awkward pass as there was a lot of traffic around him, but it'll leave 25 seconds and a 3rd and 7 for the Noles.
Georgia Tech starting to ramp up the pressure in the front just a little bit. You're starting to see some games of movement. And for the first time really in a couple plays in a row, we've seen defenders right in the lap of James Blackman. Hasn't given them enough time to locate a guy downfield. He's got man coverage here, though, down at the bottom. At some point, they have to look in the direction to get Terry back involved in this offensive plan after the big drop earlier.
He's in the front of that stack release. Blackman looks that way, takes a shot downfield, and just at the moment of the ball coming in was the impact with Carpenter. And both men are down at the end of that play. Terry and Tariq Carpenter. He took a big hit right when he was trying to secure that ball.
Yeah, I mean, going over the middle, Blackman throws it in really tight coverage as you see the safety. Carpenter at 242 pounds deliver the contact, and just want to applaud Carpenter too. Back in the day, that's one where you'd see the kill shot, guys going up high. That time right there, you see Carpenter lead with the shoulder, head was up, could see what he was hitting. That's a clean hit by the Georgia Tech safety, and man, it was a lot of contact. Hopefully Terry's okay, but those are two really big, physically impressive guys with the big contact there in the middle of the field.
Tariq Carpenter, 6'2", 226 against the 6'4", 210 frame of Terry.
Yeah, I mean, those are two NFL body types right there, just in a massive collision. And just taking a hit right to the middle of your stomach is so painful. It hurts so bad. And Terry right there leaving it all on the line, trying to reel it in for his quarterback. Just unable to get it done. His Carpenter's back on the ground trying to collect himself.
That's good to see him under his own power there. To Marion Terry, one of the most dynamic playmakers, and you can see Carpenter getting some help off the field. You know, Tariq Carpenter, he's a senior. A lot of folks in the program think that he has some great upside for a pro career. His mother served in the military so proudly. He moved around as a kid with her. They have a wonderful relationship. And go back and read feature stories. You'll hear about his respect for the sacrifice that his mother made serving our country. Well, you got to be fearless sometimes, both as a receiver and a safety, when you're controlling the middle of the field on a deep ball like that. So a 4th down and 7 with the offense out on the field with 19 seconds remaining. Georgia Tech will use a timeout. This has been a strange and long winding road here in Tallahassee today that started with bad weather. We were supposed to kick at 3:30. We didn't kick until 4 o'clock because of lightning pregame. And Georgia Tech came right down the field, starting a true freshman quarterback, only to see Asante Samuel pick it off, bring it back 38 yards. And Florida State came out there with James Blackman in control and capping it with Helton's 3-yard touchdown. And then at 4:16, right after the extra point, they said, everybody run away because animals are pairing up and an arc is coming down. It was raining sideways here in Tallahassee, so we had an hour and 15-minute delay. 4th and 7. May as well throw it downfield, James Blackman, but instead he's going to be able to run it and leave 8 seconds on the clock and get that 1st down.
And they have a timeout in their back pocket. You spike it here. You spike it here, then you try to center it. Oh, man. The clock wounded too quick. Didn't have enough time. They have to be a little bit faster with that operation. Try to center it for your kicker. Those are all things that you'll iron out over the course of the season. Understanding a clock situation, how quickly you have to operate.
Parker Grotehouse out for the field goal attempt. This from 46. And Georgia Tech will exhaust their timeouts. Blackman can move now. Blackman can move now, can he?
Yeah, he can. Right there, I think they were a little uncertain as to whether he was in or out or what the situation was. Man, this is great escapability. I mean,
sure
4th down, gotta have it situation. The pocket collapses around you, and I like the little nuanced pump fake right there. I don't know if you saw that with his right hand, just a little bit of a pump fake. We see NFL guys do it all the time. Aaron Rodgers does it all the time. So many guys do that. I've seen Deshaun do it. They do it really, really well. And what that does, just buys you a little bit more time before those defenders that are covering, before they collapse on the quarterback. So that little itty-bitty pump fake buys you maybe an extra half yard, and that might be all you need to convert. That was really well done there by Blackman.
It's 33 yards rushing on 3 carries in this first half. 109 passing, had the touchdown pass to start the day, scoring to Keyshawn Helton. And now Parker Grotehouse, who was a kickoff specialist and never attempted a field goal in college football before today, looking to secure his 2nd of the day. 46-yard attempt. And it stayed off to the right.
No good. In the first half, Florida State 10, Georgia Tech 0.
Whole lot of rain, whole lot of lightning, a little bit of Florida State offense, and that's how we arrive at 10-zip. 28th all-time meeting between these two schools. Georgia Tech's only won here one time. That was the last time they were down in Tallahassee in 2009. Coach Norvell gathers the Noles. And we will get you up to speed on the entire day of college football with Kevin, Mark, and Booger. Studio after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
You're watching the Marathon Conference Kickoff.
As you're watching the ACC on ESPN, college football on ABC, presented by PlayStation 5, part of Marathon Conference Kickoff. Florida State up 10-zip, missed a field goal just before halftime, had a touchdown pass to get the day going. Chick-fil-A first half stats. And the first half stats, Craig, a little skewed because you throw in the interceptions. With Florida State's Asante Samuel Jr., who had 2 picks, but you see the total yards by Georgia Tech, but the inability to finish these drives.
Yeah, it's been third downs and turnovers. That's really all it comes down to, and that's the name of college football nowadays, Tess. We've seen Georgia Tech be able to move it between the 20s. We've also seen those rookie mistakes by their true freshman quarterback unveil themselves at the most inopportune times.
Well, let's look at the moments of the game, brought to you by Samsung QLED TV.
And we referenced it. Asante Samuel, one of the best corners in all of college football. He's done a great job of reading the quarterback's eyes today. 2 separate occasions in which he's just had his eyes in the backfield, and as a result, he's just found himself in the right place at the right time. And how about big number 21, Marvin Wilson, coming back yet again? Could have been a first-round pick. Decided to come back. Felt like there was unfinished business both personally and as a team. It's been a part of not 1 but 2 field goal blocks that could have led to Georgia Tech points.
Noles set to receive the second half kickoff here. Remember, they won the toss and deferred. James Blackman in that first half passed for 109 yards. The touchdown toss, and then threw a really ugly interception. Also ran for 33 yards.
The numbers are a little off, too, because he had a big play wiped out by Tremarion Terry, where he threw a beautiful corner route that would have been 60, 70-yard touchdown. We saw also a couple more drops from a couple of his wide receivers. So the stat line would indicate it wasn't a great first half. He was actually quite solid with some of his accuracy. And outside of the 1 pick, made pretty dang good decisions as well.
Remember, Terry took that big hit before halftime. This is Webb getting out to the 31. Katie, what are you hearing on the Georgia Tech side?
Well, guys, Jeff Collins is pleased. He said we're moving the ball really well. We've gotten into the red zone 3 times. We just haven't finished it. He wants to see Austin King get more height underneath his field goals. And, of course, he wants Jeff Sims to limit the turnovers, but he wants him to keep his poise. He feels like he's playing well, and if they keep battling, they're going to have confidence going into this game late.
I agree, Katie. That first drive deep into Florida State territory before the turnover, then a couple other drives that had the field goal blocked. As good job filling and fitting up that run by Oliver as Webb just got back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd down for the Noles. Blackman quickly gets it to the outside and into the hands of Terry for a first down.
A big conversion there from Florida State. Try to get that first drive of the second half going. Maybe the most important drive in all of college football. That first offensive possession of the second half. Who made the adjustments? If the offense can come out, get some points on that first drive, the likelihood of them winning increases dramatically.
7 yards there from Terry. Blackman goes to the other side. Coming back for it again is Tremarion Terry. Took that big shot to the midsection when Tariq Carpenter was closing on him in the second quarter. Comes back, a couple of catches to get him going in the right direction here in the second.
I love it too, because he had that drop, that big drop that he was kind of sulking, head was hanging, and was disappointed. What do? They come to him, has a drop again over the middle after the big collision, and then here in the second half saying, hey, we got to get Terry going. Let's get him 2 completions early.
Webb probing, spinning, and finding just enough to the 43.
On the carry for the Noles.
I'd like to see just a little bit more of this from Florida State. In the first half, their running backs had only 9 carries. And I'm seeing what Georgia Tech's doing, especially on the zone read game. They're trying to get James Blackman to pull it on the zone read, but at some point, they got to feature some of these running backs. It's talented twosome there in the backfield.
We'll take a medical timeout. With Jordan Dominic, who was injured on that last play. He was able to make his way off. Time for our Pack Life game summary.
We see the weather has been maybe the biggest storyline outside of the mistakes, the miscues. It's week 1. It's to be expected. Both these teams trying to clean things up in the second half.
Pacific Life game summary showing Samuel's 2 interceptions. Deep shot here, well overthrown, as he was looking for Wilson as the intended target.
Kind of like that play there. Just take a shot. You got one-on-one coverage. 3rd and 6. And hey, we could be thinking 4-down territory here with the way our defense is playing. And the fact that we have forced a few mistakes from Georgia Tech. Might be 4-down territory here. So see what they dial up. So they maybe get 5 or 6. Potentially think about it from 4th down.
3rd down and 6. He's going to pull it. Blackman to the edge and scoots out right at that line, you see.
I like the call. You have the opportunity to potentially go for it. Keep it on the ground to see if you pop one. At least give yourself the option. Of course, they did convert, just got nearly enough, just barely enough.
3rd and 6, and he goes for 6. Empty set here with Corbin in the slot to the top. And they're going to review here where he went out of the field.
The previous play is under further review.
Mike Norvell looking up at that replay. We'll see what he says when we come back. Replay review says Blackman was short of the line to gain.
Yeah, call on the field was a 1st down. But as you see that right hand where the football is, he goes out of bounds. It's a great angle before he reaches the line to gain. The line to gain was the 37-yard line. And unfortunately for Florida State, that right arm was out of bounds at the 38, so it sets up 4th and 1.
And now it's going to be a direct snap to Jashawn Corbin here on 4th and 1. Corbin. That is going to be right on that line to gain. And it looks like his momentum got him just past it. And let's go to the studio, check in with Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. 1st down for the Noles, converting the 4th down. Downfield, incomplete. As he was trying to connect with Corbin, who had leaked out of the backfield and took a big hit that time.
Man, another big opportunity. You're going to see Blackman move to his right. And as he moves to his right, he's just late. Corbin's open right now. Look at him. He's right here in the corner. He is open. Ball's got to come out. Instead, Blackman takes 2 or 3 more strides towards the line of scrimmage. And as a result, it leads to a big hit by Avery Shoel.
Second and 10. Flag comes in as he kept it on the ground with Toafili.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I'm going to tag Cameron McDonald with that. AT&T 5G Skycam high above Doak Campbell Stadium, where the normal attendance would be 79,560 for a sellout, but this is a sellout in its own way because they allow a certain amount of fans to come in with the COVID protocols, and it's 19,500 scattered. 2nd and 20 after the penalty, and that could have been picked. That was Miles Sims breaking on the ball.
Pass is in for Hilton, incomplete. Brings up 3rd down.
Just physical on the perimeter. You see the slightly undersized Helton on the outside, and you see that contact. You see where it looked as though Sims grabbed that shoulder pad. I think you could have very easily called pass interference right there. The official didn't see the contact, didn't see the grab, and as a result, it almost leads to an interception.
3rd and 20. 3-man rush, drop 8, Blackman pressured and taken down, and it was David Curry, the senior from Buford, Georgia. David's been such a productive, heart and soul kind of player for this Tech defense.
A 3-man rush, and it results in a sack. It's got to be frustrating. You just see these 3 guys taking off, and then Curry, number 6, right in the middle of your field, is kind of in spy mode. And as soon as Blackman steps up in the pocket towards the line of scrimmage, Curry triggers and brings him down for a sack.
Mastromano looking to pin. Blancato lets it run in, and it goes into the end zone. So still a 10-point margin here. Georgia Tech's been able to move the ball, just hasn't been able to finish in that first half. Katie.
Well, Jeff Collins has a nickname here at Georgia Tech, DJ Jazzy Jeff. He says he's proud of a lot of things, but most proud of the fact that he makes the playlist from each practice. The weekly slate goes like this: Techno Tuesday, ATL Wednesday for Atlanta-based artists, Positive Vibes Thursday, headlined by Jimmy Buffett, of course, while Friday is reserved for the funky soul guys.
Katie, they have a lot of fun at practice. Griffin with the carry there. So you got the playlist, Techno Tuesday, then ATL Wednesday, where it's all local artists, so Outkast, T.I., Ludacris. But you know I'd be all about Friday practice. Funky Soul Friday with a little Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I love it.
2nd and 5. Sims throws it away at the last second.
And you think back to that music playlist, you talk to Jeff Collins and you talk to the players, and they said, man, it's just refreshing to have a coach that listens to the same music we do. He said, it's all over the map, and man, he has embraced the relationship that he's creating with his players, and it's a big reason why his players have played so incredibly hard over the course of the last 2 years.
I just need to know who has the better playlist.
3rd down and 5. And a good job by Jeff Sims lowering his shoulder at the last moment there to move the chains.
I think Tess might take the cake, Katie, when it comes to the playlist. He's got some jams, I'm telling you. He gets up here, gets the moves working a little bit.
I was expecting more from you, Greg, honestly.
Jet motion here with Brown. Great pursuit by the Noles. It started with Green, it finished with Steven Dix. Why you hating on Chuck Mangione, my friend? Why you hating?
I love him.
It feels so good.
It does. What kind of trumpet is that again?
That's a flugelhorn.
A flugelhorn. It's a flugelhorn. That's right. I apologize.
2nd and 14. Sims near side, denied. And guess who? Asante Samuel Jr.
Broken up by Asante Samuel Jr.
Glad you're with us here. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, and Katie George now coming to you on ESPN2. Even they have masks on. 10-zip Knowles, 3rd and 13 for Georgia Tech. And the freshman quarterback Jeff Sims from Jacksonville, Florida. He was originally committed to play here in Tallahassee. Now he starts his career against them. And nowhere to go as he is brought down by Fabian Lovett and that front pursuing him as a flag was down with double zeros.
Come out, Georgia Tech. They're first.
And they're saying they were able to get the timeout. Greg, what's the answer for this Georgia Tech offense right now?
They got to quit shooting themselves in the foot with the mistakes. They've had bad penalties. They've had so many moments where they're about to break through. They have momentum. Their quarterback's seeing the field beautifully. And then they've thrown an interception because he doesn't see one defender. All things considered, they've been able to move the ball with a lot of consistency. However, those catastrophic mistakes just absolutely can't happen. You have 2 interceptions and you've had 2 field goals blocked. That's 4 potential scoring opportunities on Florida State's side of the field that have been squandered because of mistakes.
Want to remind you, coming up on Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow, of course, Tom Brady's first game as a Buck, and Joe Montana, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, they will share their advice on ending a career elsewhere. Plus, Randy Moss with You Got Moss, and Randy's going to rank today's best catches during college football, so you can kick off your Sunday morning with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Tom Brady in a Bucs uniform is still going to take some getting used to, isn't it? I mean,
sure is.
And Cam Newton in a Patriots uniform. It's just, there's just so much movement this offseason.
3rd down and 13. How about Jeff Sims in a Georgia Tech uniform looking for this and finding it with Jalen Camp. Big Jalen Camp, who made veteran college football writer Bruce Feldman's beloved annual Freaks list. His bench press, a jaw-dropping 30 reps at 225, a wide receiver with 20-inch biceps.
Absolutely ridiculous. Man coverage too, working away. How about his quarterback buying a little extra time to allow separation, hitting the big throw.
First down throw to the outside, a wobbler, but still into the arms of Brown. And Amarion Brown, we'll see if he can spark things for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech with more total yards than Florida State, 304 to 211. But the blocked field goals, the costly interceptions, and they're still searching to get on the board.
You got to be encouraged by what you've seen from the quarterback. Made a couple mistakes, continues to bounce back.
2nd and 4. Mason wrapped up after a yard and a half, maybe 2 yards there. It'll be 3rd and short.
If you're Georgia Tech, you got to be thinking 2 downs here. I mean, they went for it on their own side of the 50 at the beginning of the game on 4th and short. So if you get positive yardage here, you got to think you're going to keep your offense on the field to see if you can keep the momentum going.
3rd and 2. And Mason should be able to move the chains there based on that mark. So you got a little pad leverage and that extra half a yard. You know, he's right up in the middle against Marvin Wilson, the first team All-ACC, All-American player who's really been this fearless and forefront team leader. He's spoken up on social justice causes to even publicly calling out his head coach. Strike downfield, and that is incomplete. And really, I bring that up, Greg, because it was a galvanizing moment for this Florida State team when Marvin took exception to the fact that Coach Norvell was quoted in an article and saying he spoke to each player individually about the social unrest, and Marvin correctly noted that it was a mass team text, and Coach himself apologized, held himself accountable, and really lauded and was proud of Marvin for utilizing his platform to express his reaction. And this is a better locker room and a better program because of it. And this is Jamias Griffin. And then coach and player said, hey, what good can we do in our community? And here's Marvin Wilson, who could be cashing checks in the NFL, who started his own charitable foundation down here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, he has been out in the community. He has been preaching change, and I just so applaud this young man for the leader he's become over the course of his career.
3rd down and 6, and out of the backfield is Griffin, who does a nice job to get the first down. And Wilson wanted everybody to know, hey, listen, there's no disruption with what happened down here. He put out the tweet all the way back on June 4th, said we took a stand, got what we wanted, and he appreciates Coach for encouraging him to use his platform. So a great example of leadership on the field and off the field, and the right way to go about it. Griffin gets away from J-Rob and has another first down and says, I need a little more up and over. So here comes Tech now.
Yeah, Tess, multiple players have said, look, families fight, we have disagreements, but we're still a family at the end of the day. Coach Norvell admitted he was wrong, he handled it like a man, and now because of that, we have his back. So ultimately, conflict brought this team closer together, which is a huge point going into the season.
And right now he needs his All-American to be a playmaker. Try to slow down this drive by Tech. Look at Mason getting to the edge and going for that pylon and finding it. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. How about it? "19-yard touchdown run, Jordan Mason."
Man, just beautifully done. They found something on the perimeter. So Mason and Griffin, a couple plays in a row, just trying to stretch it to the edge. And this time Mason finding pay dirt after he turned the corner. What a great job by this Georgia Tech offense, finally taking advantage now of the red zone penetration.
And Jude Kelly puts through the extra point. And we got a 3-point game here in Tallahassee. Tech is right back in it, aren't they? Hey, college football is coming together and recognizing the impactful work of great teachers and the way they've been performing the essential duties with the backdrop of COVID-19. And on behalf of the College Football Foundation and ESPN, we're going to honor what those teachers have been doing to keep kids learning. So we have a $1,000 Donors Choose gift card that they can use towards school resources that you and your students need. And Miss Dion Napier, James Blackman's teacher and the principal at Rosenwald Elementary School down in South Bay, Florida, she's getting it. Here's Travis J on the return. Good spin to get out to the 30. Let me tell you something about Miss Napier, because when we were talking to James yesterday and we said, who was the teacher? Who was that person in your life that was so instrumental? And he brought up Miss Dion Napier. Boy, did that smile light up the room.
Oh, man, it was awesome.
It light up the room.
It's just amazing the impact the teachers can have on young men. And he spoke glowingly about her and was just so moved and just proud to be able to bring recognition to the impact that she made on his life. And man, she made a great impact. He has been such an impressive young man.
Now Jordan Travis, redshirt sophomore, is going to get an opportunity here as he's going to run it to the outside and get something extra. And as he lowers the shoulder, Travis is from West Palm Beach, Florida. Initially was up at Louisville, transferred to Florida State.
He's an extremely athletic guy, too. I mean, he will have a package in every game plan this year because of how much of a difference maker he can be with his legs.
Well, last year, that game he had against Boston College was spectacular, and he did it with his legs as he does it right here against BC last year. Made his debut there. He had a 27-yard touchdown run on his very first play, and then he had a 66-yard touchdown run later in that game. And that was the longest quarterback run in Florida State history. He dialed it up for 66 yards on the ground.
And I love watching the way that they're using him in this offense. And they said we might see him. They didn't necessarily tell us. But I just think it's an example of how Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham, they'll go deep in the playbook. They'll go deep on the roster to find guys that can help them move the football. And this is an example. Hey, Jordan Travis is too talented to keep on the bench for 60 minutes. Let's find a role for him. And here he is now making a contribution on the first down.
And stepping off to the side is Travis as the starting center, Maurice Smith, a redshirt freshman from Miami Central, is still down on the ground after that run. Let's check in with Katie.
You know, multiple players had said that wearing different names of those who have lost their lives to police brutality in today's game was important to them. We asked James Blackman if he felt the urge to do the same. Tess, Greg, he said, "My name on the back of my jersey, it says it all. I am a black man, and I represent young black men everywhere, and that should be enough."
You know, we had a great conversation with James in terms of what his impact, what he wants to be. And he talked about there being just such a greater cause out there and wants to make an impact with the youth. You know, and James himself is somebody who understands the impact that mentors and coaches can make on him, because with this new coaching staff, he really feels like he's been challenged to be focused and consistent every single day. Whether it's practice of game week or it's the dead of the offseason, just learning something, waking up and pushing yourself with strength and conditioning, just that little 1% better of total focus and command of yourself every day.
Every day. And never letting up in your preparation. When he was named the starting quarterback, Mike Norvell said, he basically asked him, "All right, coach, anything else?" And he said, "Well, I thought you'd be excited." He goes, "Yes, sir, I'm excited. I'm going to go practice now." He's just an amazing young man. I'm so hoping that he can get things going with this new offense.
Right now, Travis is in the game at quarterback. But in the backfield is David Curry with a tackle for loss. David Curry, whose father, Buddy Curry, was a linebacker for the Falcons, was the NFC Rookie of the Year back in 1980.
And we already asked the Georgia Tech defensive coordinator Andrew Thacker, say, hey, any chance, you know, given the fact that this is a free year of eligibility, you think Curry might come back for be year 7 senior? He said no, he's going to be 25 years old, and you know, he's going to go off and make 6 figures doing something else if he doesn't play in the NFL. So enjoying his last season potentially there in Atlanta.
2nd and 15. Blackman now comes back into the game, but he can't escape. As you saw, Brooks getting to him. Jamin Brooks, the big 300-pound senior from Sandersville, Georgia. This is a young man in Jamin Brooks who coach says, here's what I love about him. Had no offers, had no recruiting profile coming out of high school, found a home, worked hard, and is out there.
Yeah, and now he's wearing a single digit, which is a big deal at Georgia Tech. The big number 0 playing defensive tackle starting in the ACC. It's just a remarkable story of growth and perseverance and taking advantage of the opportunity you've been afforded.
3rd down and 15 now. 3-man rush against Blackman. And he just pops it to Corbin. And Corbin is going to have the 1st down. What a smart play. Off schedule, didn't matter. Blackman, Corbin, Knowles, chain mover.
I love it too. It's a great job of stepping up. The pocket collapsed a little bit along the left-hand side, but Blackman steps up, keeps his eyes downfield. And when you have man coverage, guess what? Find your running backs, find your tight ends. That's a mismatch against a linebacker. Gets Corbin in the open field and converts on 3rd and long.
18 yards there, and now Helton unable to turn the corner. It was Jordan Dominic who tracked him down and made the tackle.
Take it down.
Want to remind you the 51st season of Monday Night Football kicks off with our annual Week 1 doubleheader. You got the Steelers taking on the Giants, so Big Ben is back against Saquon and the Giants. That's at 7 Eastern. And then we have Denver against Tennessee. Both games are on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. What a fun night that's going to be to have Steelers and Giants and the Titans and Broncos. Looking forward to hearing the new crew there.
I can tell you this much, I'm going to be sleepy on Tuesday morning.
There's no doubt.
I'm going to be up late watching those games. I can't wait to see Big Ben back on the field. Elbow is healed. Hoping to see a full season of him, a healthy Big Ben. Last time we saw him a couple years back, I mean, he is certainly still capable. And then, of course, Saquon Barkley, what a star there for the Giants.
Caleb Oliver is slow to get up. Defensive back for Georgia Tech. 3-point game. A game that saw Georgia Tech move the ball between the 20s in that first half. But then the costly interceptions. Asante Samuel Jr. had 2 picks in the first half. Had a 38-yard return on one, a 36-yard return on the other. You know, and you sit back and you think about a guy who carries that name because his dad, of course, two-time Super Bowl winner, Asante Samuel Sr. Asante Sr. had 2 interceptions in a first half once in his entire pro career. Guy played 178 NFL games. Junior's played 25 college games, and he did it today.
I love it. And I can assure you, now that that's made it, I'm sure Asante is so proud of his son, but it'll be a little smack talk, you know, a little smack talk there between father and son.
Here's 2nd and 10. Shallow cross with Wilson. Ball comes out at the end, and Florida State is able to recover, as that was LaDamian Webb who was trailing the play and had his eyes up.
2 downs to get it. See some tempo here from Florida State. Expected to keep it on the ground.
3rd and 1. And they'll blow the whistles here.
Prior to the snap, timeout Georgia Tech. Their second. 30-second timeout.
Greg, I got to be honest with you, in understanding the circumstances with Georgia Tech and knowing who's not in action today, they're missing players across that defensive line, knowing they're starting a true freshman quarterback, they've held their own.
Yeah, they have. They've battled. I mean, they really have. And they've had so many opportunities, Joe, where if they just make one move one way or the other with a throw where he maybe throws it away as opposed to forcing it into coverage, it's a completely different ball game. They've been able to control and handle the line of scrimmage for the most part. And their true freshman quarterback, yeah, has had some freshman moments, but for the most part has stood in the pocket, has been strong in the pocket, and has had an answer for even some of the mistakes he's made.
Yeah, and you understand where this program is and where they are on their developmental arc, and then you sit back and you say, I get it. I understand why you would put Jeff Sims out there right away, and the future could be very bright. Here's 3rd and 1 after the timeout. Blackman downfield and incomplete. Denied by Miles Sims.
Know what that play tells me right there, Tess?
What's that?
They're going for it on 4th down.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, they fake it, try to get one big over the top. Ball was just a little bit late, and Blackman was getting hit as he released it, so didn't have quite the velocity on it that he would have liked. But expect them now to try to get up there and impose their will at the line of scrimmage. If they can't push the pile a little bit to pick up a 1st down.
2 for 2 on 4th downs. 4th and 1 here. Jayshon Corbin, who's been in this Wildcat look before. 4th and 1. Corbin, they run the same play as before, and they get the same result. It'll be a 1st down for Florida State at the 30-yard line. ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 5 as part of Marathon Conference Kickoff. And doesn't that sound great to have major Power 5 conference action on a Saturday? Joe Tessitore alongside Greg McElroy and Katie George down on the field.
I want to take a shot right here if I'm Florida State. I want to throw the ball down the field off play action.
Instead, Corbin is met in the backfield and then has to work his way back to the line. It was Chico Bennett getting in there.
Right now, if you look at Georgia Tech defensively, man, they are not concerned about the downfield throw. Like, their safeties are really close, and they are teeing off on the run game. They're daring Blackman to throw it over their head, and at this point, he hasn't necessarily proven to be able to do so, but at some point on a 1st and 10 and plus territory, they need to take a shot downfield.
Left tackle Darius Washington is down at the end of that play.
Washington just kind of getting rolled up on the left side there.
He's a redshirt freshman from Pensacola. He's a redshirt because he started towards the end of last year, but he was injured then as well, so he was able to stay under the game limit and keep his redshirt. Comes out of Pensacola, where he played high school ball with Keyshawn Helton, who had the 3-yard touchdown reception that opened up the scoring much earlier today, like an hour and 15-minute lightning delay that followed that touchdown by Helton.
It is concerning, though. Now, we have seen at different points of this game, we've seen the center Maurice Smith, we saw Dante Lucas, and now their left tackle Darius Washington all have at times been out of the ball game nursing an injury. So if I'm Georgia Tech, what I'm thinking, man, the left side of the offensive line is kind of being pieced together at this point. I want to try to attack the left side of that offensive line if I'm Georgia Tech, and then I have to know where I'm weak potentially as Florida State and fortify the left side, because that's the blind side of my right-handed quarterback.
And of course, that has been the notable weak spot in terms of a unit on this Florida State team. 2nd down and 9. They shift the 2 tight ends to the left side. Play action. They get some pressure to set up the screen, and Webb is taken down as a flag comes down.
Well on the reception.
Legal shift, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Mike Norvell, first year at Florida State. What a run he had at Memphis. 12-1 season, won the American Conference, earned a trip to the Cotton Bowl. Now he brings his offensive wizardry to the Noles. We're really curious to see James Blackman's development as he continues on with Norvell and this staff. 2nd and 14. Quick strike, and it's incomplete as he was looking for Warren Thompson.
And this has got to be getting a little frustrating for Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator. There have been several examples today where he's had guys running free. He's had wide receivers open, and Blackman is just the tiniest bit late. Look at the separation right here. Thompson's open, but as a result, the ball's late, the ball's held up, and the defender can close the gap of separation because the ball is not thrown on time. They have to increase his process to get the ball out a little faster with more velocity.
3rd and 14. Tamarion Terry is at the bottom of your screen. He's looking the other way. Now he's looking for anything. On 3rd and 14, Blackman cross field and incomplete. Always dangerous, and it'll be 4th down. And it's going to be a 53-yard attempt from Parker Grotehouse. Does have a big leg. He was the kickoff specialist a year ago and had 42 touchbacks out of 60 kickoffs. Power's not a problem, but is he accurate enough? Yes, he is. 53-yarder from Grotehouse. Great job from Parker Grotehouse.
I mean, that ball, Tess, off his foot.
Yep.
It might have had like some type of booster on it or something. Like that ball took off. I mean, my goodness, you could hear it from here.
That's just his natural kicking form.
That's it.
That's how he hits it, and he didn't change a thing.
That's like you hitting like a 6-iron.
Please, you kidding me? That 6-iron's going to be thrown in a lake the way I play golf.
In more than one piece. That was impressive, though. You mentioned how strong that leg was. I mean, that was good from 60. And you could hear it. It was just a boom as it left his foot. Really well done.
So a 6-point margin. 13-play drive and a 53-yard field goal. Dante Smith from the 6. As he's wrestled down at about the 28, gives us a chance to check in with Kevin Connors.
Caleb Deloach on the stop.
(13-7) Florida State. Final minute of this third quarter. Joe, Greg, and Katie with you in Tallahassee. Georgia Tech's only won one time here in Tallahassee back in 2009. Sims sets up the middle screen. And making the most of it that time was Smith, the redshirt freshman from Grayson. Had moments in camp, but of course, hard to find playing time in this backfield. Mason is wildly talented. Griffin is a hard worker. And then they've got the true freshman Jahmyr Gibbs, who they think the sky's the limit with what he could offer eventually.
Yeah, they're about to have a three-headed monster running back. It's going to be really impressive.
Look at how quickly Florida State was all over that. Amari Gaynor read it every which way. Jalen Camp had no chance, a loss of 5.
See what Amari Gaynor started to pop test. I mean, he is making plays. He's sniffing out things before they happen. He's beating guys with the football. I mean, Gaynor's a guy that we've kind of had circled for a little while now. It was an impressive competition between him and Kalen Deloach to see who would start at that stud position there in this 4-2-5 defense. And man, he is making the most of this opportunity today.
End of the third quarter. 6-point game. Little bit of life to Georgia Tech in this second half. How would play out? Stick around. Be right back to find out. Georgia Tech hasn't had a true season-opening road win since 2007. Florida State, of course, legendary proud program trying to climb back, holding on to a 6-point lead here as we start the fourth quarter with Dante Smith getting out into space.
No doubt here for Georgia Tech. Third down and short, about three and change. 2 downs to get it. Absolutely have to go for it in this part of the field. You did it earlier. Why would you do it now?
3rd and 3, and the freshman quarterback Sims is going to get it himself. Let's go to the studio and Kevin.
Georgia Tech first down.
First down, sprint left, Sims to the corner. Great effort that time by Malachi Carter, stretching out on the sideline, and he's got the size to do it. 6'3", 200-pounder.
And this is so easy on the quarterback. It cuts the field in half. You read 2 guys. All right, outside in. At 15, got separation. You throw the comeback on time, making it easy on your quarterback. Dave Patinode's done a nice job of that throughout the course of the night.
11 yards there. Safety blitz. Lofts it up, and fortunately for him, it goes incomplete, but a flag comes down right where the coverage was. And that was Travis Jay, the safety, who was coming after the ball.
Wow, it felt bang, bang.
Against P.J. Harris, the big Tech receiver. Raymond Woody was coming in on safety blitz.
Downfield. Number 54, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, instead, they're going to get the true freshman right tackle, Jordan Williams.
Yeah, look at the right side. He's more than 3 yards downfield when the ball releases Sims' hand. I'm glad that was the call, because if it was pass interference, I would have had an issue with that. Both guys going for the football. You see the fans here.
That's what they thought it was.
In Tallahassee, not real thrilled about the call. However, it ended up working on their behalf. It's a good call, actually, from the back judge, recognizing that right tackle, Williams, had slipped down in his first college game.
So it makes for a 1st and 15. They come off the edge again, pick up the pressure. Sims gets it to the edge outside again to Carter. So that has worked out well. Carter driving, creating space, and getting to the corner.
Tell you what, man, we knew that Georgia Tech had good running backs. We knew that. we were a little uncertain about the quarterback. Well, I think we could check that box. Jeff Sims can be a heck of a player. I mean, a couple mistakes today. Hey, live with it. Kid's playing, man. He's throwing dimes right now, and it's in a really good rhythm. How about these wide receivers?
Here's what I like about the wide receivers, with the exception of Brown, who's got the pure speed, and that's how they want him. They're going to take a review. They got size.
Yeah.
These are good-looking athletes who are big targets. They're going to review the ruling of a completed pass, and we'll hear about it when we come back. Was a completion. Play stands. Carter 11 yards here. Had firm control. Was in bounds. So here's Tech trailing by 6. Fourth quarter at Florida State with a true freshman quarterback in Jeff Sims, seeing if he can make this comeback. 2nd and 4. Flag is down as Sims probes the right side, and for now it's a first down, but we will check on the flag.
Offside, defense, number 55, lined up in the neutral zone. The penalties decline. Result of the play is the first down.
9 yards for Smith, a first down. He's doing it against that interior of the defensive line of Florida State that's got Wilson, Cooper, and Lovett, and all that talent with J-Rob, you see, stalking out there on the edge. But this Tech team is finding themselves in the second half, and they want more, and they get it! Well, what do we have here, Malachi Carter? What a throw by Sims, and a great job by Carter. And they're an extra point away from taking the lead against the Noles.
Just beautiful one-on-one coverage. Underthrown deep ball, almost impossible to defend. You see Jones get a little bit of a push off there from Malachi Carter, but he goes up and makes the catch.
And the extra point isn't a gimme. Blocked again. And the Noles on the return, but taken down. We've been saying it all day. Jude Kelly, the true freshman kicker, who had 2 field goals blocked, had an extra point. Again, that came close, and now here, trying to take the lead, and it's rejected again. Slow ops time, big penetration, and folks, how about this? We are tied because of that. J-Rob does it.
College football on ABC is presented by PlayStation 5. Play has no limits. And in part by Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow.
Down here in Tallahassee, where the freshman Jude Kelly is trying to explain how it keeps happening. The protection on the left side gave way. The ops time is slow, 1.5. Got to be 1.25 at this level of ball. And now because of that block PAT, we got a tie game as Travis J has a fine return. This has been happening all day. As Jude Kelly went out there early on, you imagine you trot out there a road game on national TV and you try to do this, and you got big Marvin Wilson who's right in your face, and then you got J-Rob who's going up high, and then you're trying to take the lead in the fourth quarter, and Janaris Robinson is swatting you. 3 times Florida State has been in the face of the freshman kicker, Jude Kelly. And now quick to the outside as Terry with one move and a quick dash.
Terry on the catch for the Noles.
Guys, James Blackman and Tamarion Terry had a long conversation on the sideline during that last break, and Terry was extremely animated early as the 2 of them talked about the last drive that resulted in that field goal. You could tell they did not agree. The frustration was mounting amongst the offensive players. We'll see if that block PAT gives them a burst here.
Indeed. And there is the conversation that Katie references.
That's good for another Florida State.
this is just another day at the office if you're a quarterback. Hey, this is no big deal. This is actually a great opportunity to work on that relationship, work on the communication. So this is very normal to see your star receiver disappointed if he's not getting enough looks.
Back to Terry. Blockers in front as he weaves his way past midfield. So Webb gets the 1-yard run to move the chains. Quick game with Tamarion Terry. That is always effective. Even though he comes across as a guy that's a long strider, a downfield threat, he's good in short space as well.
Which is amazing. For a guy of that length, that has such long strides and has such an incredible top-end speed, his lateral movement is remarkable. When you see him on those little quick screens right there, and almost you have to double-check the number. Is that Helton, the slot receiver that's 5'9", that can really move? I'm telling you, he's got tremendous lateral agility. It's going to pay a lot of dividends down the road in the NFL.
2nd and 2. Webb flanking Blackman, and now he switches to the other side. And here is Webb, and Webb will have the first down again for Florida State. Reminder that UFC Fight Night from Vegas comes your way tonight on ESPN Plus. Michelle Watterson, Angela Hill, strawweight main event. That is on ESPN Plus. Coverage of that is already underway. By the way, I have an unhealthy addiction to combat sports on ESPN Plus between Top Rank Boxing, which is in action tonight, and the UFC. That's all you need to know for now, Mr. McElroy. We're going to take a short break. Griffin is down. Trainers are at him. We're tied at 13. Joe, Greg, and Katie with your Pacific Life game summary of this tie game in a first half that was dominated by Florida State's Asante Samuel Jr. 2 interceptions in the first half.
Making it look far too easy. I mean, just reading the quarterback's eyes, falling right underneath things. However, Florida State offensively did a lot of nice things to take advantage of those takeaways, finding Helton in the flat for the early touchdown. But Georgia Tech bounced back here in the second half with Jordan Mason getting around the edge and making a big play for the touchdown.
And now taken down is Blackman as he was torn down by Curtis Ryans. They've got a couple key defensive linemen out, but guys like Curtis Ryans stepping up. And that is not a good sign for Florida State. I feel like we've gone across this entire line, shuffling it around today. Greg, another injury. This is Devontae Love Taylor. And that is the guy who Coach Norvell says has really become the leader of this offensive line. Just over 11 minutes to play, tied up here in Tallahassee. Don't go anywhere. So Florida State's right tackle, Love Taylor, out of the game. 2nd and 19. You got Terry on the bottom of your screen with a stack release on 2nd and 19. He's always a dangerous threat downfield. Blackman swatted. Ball is out. Ball is loose. And look at this. Curry picks it up, and he's pushed out inside the 15. What a big play by David Curry. And the Ramblin' Wreck is looking to wreck Florida State here at home.
Well, the starting right tackle goes down, so what do? You come right after his backup. Chaz Neal beat around the edge as you see the swim move and the swat as Curtis Ryans dislodges the football. And just like he always is, David Curry finds it, picks it up, and has Georgia Tech knocking on the door. What a huge strip sack right there by the defensive end.
Strip sack by Curtis Ryans. Georgia Tech's third of the game. And now look at where they are with Griffin in the backfield, and he is taken down. As Sims, is taken down with Lars Woodby.
And an interesting strategy here, Tess, too. Do you even think about putting the field goal kicker, Jude Kelly, back on the field? You got to think it's touchdown or bust here. So 4 downs, I mean, bad things happen when you send a guy out there who doesn't have a lot of confidence.
And not just the true freshman. Their entire protection of him, the operation, everything about it hasn't worked. As Griffin doesn't get much there. Just works his way back to the 12-yard line.
You might not have a choice. Obviously, a 3rd and 10, an incompletion, 4th and 10 perhaps. You might have no choice but to settle for 3, but man, that's why 1st down was so huge right there, to get some positive momentum so you would at least have the option to go for it on 4th down.
Here's 3rd and 11. As he overthrows and a flag comes down as expected.
I'm surprised there wasn't stopped dead. I thought there was a
agree.
legal motion or a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 2, 5-yard penalty, go down.
So the strip sack and the fumble recovery and return by David Curry has put them in prime position. However, here they are, pushed back now to the 17 with a true freshman field goal kicker who has been blocked 3 times today. 3 times in one game.
Yeah, and if I'm Florida State defensively, more often than not, I try to send the house. I'd blitz. I try to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, but not under these circumstances, not with the struggles that Georgia Tech has had kicking game today. So if I were Florida State, I would back up, keep my deepest line of defenders at the 1st down mark, and rally up, force a throw underneath, force them to try to at least tempt another field goal.
3rd and 16, line against the 1-yard line, but they want 7. Sims didn't have anything working at all as Lars Woodby was waiting on him. And now here comes Jude Kelly again. Moments ago, he had an extra point blocked that would have taken the lead. Now this, a chance for redemption.
Bernard J-Rob off the right side.
A 32-yarder here in the 4th quarter for the true freshman is good. And does that ever feel just fine for Jude Kelly? Relief. You can breathe, young man, you can breathe. 16-13, Georgia Tech.
When you're up in the booth, you know, you're keeping it unbiased, calling it how you see it. I think all of us are relieved to see that young man being embraced by his teammates. It's a lonely feeling when you have 3 missed kicks, all 3 of which blocked. Man, you're only as good as your most recent play, and he splits the uprights to give the Yellow Jackets the lead. So good for that young man, bouncing back after what was a very difficult start to his college career.
Puts it through true. Ops time was better, protection was better, and good job by Jeff Collins having confidence in young Jude Kelly. I mean, this is a guy who is wildly talented coming out of high school. Jamie Cole, the kicking guru for ESPN.com, had him as a 4.5 star. But you get to this level, you're playing on national TV, you're on the road, and there's a grown man opposite you who are coming after you quickly. The ops time has to be there. The protection has to be there. The confidence in your technique has to be there. And right there, it finally was. 16-13 Tech.
Yeah, it's a little different lining up against high school guys. You know, they're normal sized. You come out here and you see Marvin Wilson.
Yeah, that's not
J-Rob. No,
that's not normal.
That's a little different when it comes to the rush that they're getting on the field goal. So good on that young man for hanging in there and drilling his most recent attempt.
And give credit to the defense that found a pass rush. Curtis Ryans, the strip sack. David Curry, the fumble recovery, and thus the opportunity. Travis J. stacked up, and now you take a lead. Special teams coverage unit is fired up. So glad you're with us watching ESPN College Football, part of Marathon Conference Kickoff. Joe Tessitore alongside Greg McElroy up here in the booth at Doak Campbell Stadium. Katie George doing a great job down in the field. Katie George, who had to be a weathercaster for much of the afternoon. We had half an hour delay before kickoff. We had an hour and 15-minute delay in the middle of the 1st quarter. But we've marched on in what has been a fascinating watch between these two programs who are trying to build themselves back up. And now Jordan Travis is back in at quarterback. And he can run it. Makes the first would-be tackler miss and is down at the 20. Let's go to the studio to Kevin. Under 8.5 to play. Florida State trailing at home to a pesky Georgia Tech team. Travis tucks it and gets it. Jordan Travis, redshirt sophomore from West Palm Beach. That is exactly what he can do. He can flat out fly.
Just a completely blown play right there. I mean, you have offensive linemen downfield thinking it's screen. No one that's out in the route is actually looking back at the quarterback. They're thinking the ball's being handed off. Just a completely blown play, and that's what a quarterback's legs can do. Even in a blown play, you can make something out of it to give your team a fresh set of downs.
9 yards and a first down. Jordan Travis, whose brother played baseball here at Florida State, spent some time with the Blue Jays. Try to get a lead block for him this time, and he catches a seam, and he's got another 9-yard run. So this package is working out well for Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator for the Noles. And quick right over the ball is Jordan Travis.
That's good for another Florida.
And they're actually going to mark that as a first down. They originally said it was going to be a second and short. Instead, it's a first down. Travis to pass it this time, and low and behind McDonald. Second and 10, showing pressure off the edge. Instead, he flares out. Travis finds another opening until he is ridden down that time by Demetrius Knight. Demetrius Knight, who was recruited as a quarterback in the old Georgia Tech system. A lot of guys who came here to play in the option now playing defense.
James Blackman back in at quarterback. Obvious passing down here. Let's see if they look in the direction of Cam McDonald, their tight end, up to the top of the screen.
3rd and 5, quickly to the outside, and indeed they go to McDonald. Well done, Greg McElroy. Well done, Noles. First down at midfield.
Just giving a lot of cushion over McDonald. He had a big play down the field earlier in the game. And on 3rd and short, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, that's the second time now where they've been 6 or 7 yards off the big body tight end. So it's a good job of Blackman recognizing it, taking advantage of the quick stick route.
Defensive lineman down. We'll try to properly identify that for you. You know, Jeff Collins had a conversation with us the other day, Greg, and he said, listen, I understand where we're deficient in terms of some of the personnel where we're trying to grow to, but we're going to play hard.
Yeah.
They have played hard. They have earned every inch of this lead right here on the road in the 4th quarter.
They have. And they have played so hard, and it hasn't always been perfect, but that's kind of the beauty of it. When you look, and they're causing, and if you look back at Jeff Collins' tenure, both at Temple and when he's a coordinator at Florida and Mississippi State and other places, it was all about creating chaos, creating disruption on the defensive side of the football, and that translated eventually to their offense as well. He wants to muddy the game up, get it to the 4th quarter, get it to the end of the 4th quarter, and have a chance to win it. And I'm telling you, man, the effort that's been on display, has it been flawless? By no means. But the effort has been fantastic for both these squads, and especially for what we've seen with Georgia Tech here in the second half.
Daquan Dowse is the defensive lineman who is down. And trying to stretch out that left leg and get him hydrated, so that always plays towards cramps.
And it's tough too. I mean, with the challenges that you've had throughout the summer and fall camp, talking to a lot of coaches around the country, they are concerned about the conditioning level. So as the game goes along, it's going to become more and more challenging to make sure your guys are hydrated and to make sure your guys are stretched out, because these things are, you see these all the time in September, let alone in a September that's unlike any other we've ever seen.
Back to action here, first down midfield. Corbin in the backfield. Webb, and here is Webb as he does a good job of just backing into it and gaining extra yardage. With Damian Webb with an 8-yard run for the Noles. Under 6 minutes to play.
I'm still surprised they haven't tried to commit to this a little bit more. If you look back at Memphis, yes, Brady White, their quarterback, for Mike Norvell, he set records. I mean, unbelievable aerial attack, but they really made their hay on the ground with a great run game. They haven't been as committed to it today with the talented stable of backs.
Quickly, they get it to Wilson, and Wilson will have another first down for the Noles. So Georgia Tech gets the big defensive play, gets the clutch field goal to take the lead from Jude Kelly, the true freshman. And now this is the response drive from Florida State. Blackman with time, wants every bit of it. And overthrows the intended target as he was looking for Wilson.
Second down.
Florida State, again, it could be a potential 4-down territory. Your defense has not played great here in the second half, or really throughout any point of the game. Georgia Tech almost 430 yards of offense. You might be thinking, hey man, we got 3 downs to get it here on the plus side of the 50-yard line.
They showed jet motion. Blackman trying to set up the screen, but they trailed with it, and then finally he dumps it off to Corbin. And the pursuit was there right away. Quez Jackson and others from that Tech defense.
Third down.
So now it is third down, 3rd and 8 for Florida State.
A big situation right here. You just have to look at your best players. You have to. And your best option at wide receiver, if he gets a one-on-one, you absolutely have to look in the direction of Tamorion Terry. I just would be shocked if Georgia Tech allowed that one-on-one to occur, but it's looking like it might with zone coverage at the top.
He's up against Sims. Does Blackman have him there? Wrapped up, and Sims makes the tackle. So that's the direction they go, but it'll leave them with a 3rd down and about 3.
And I would go
4th down and 3, excuse me.
I would go with a spread formation again. Last couple times that Georgia Tech's seen this down and distance, they've played very, very soft. Find the softest target and see if you can get it right in front of the sticks.
4th down and 3. Coming up on 4 minutes to play. Trailing by 3 at home. And a timeout is going to be used.
It's a great timeout from Mike Norvell. Great timeout right there. Georgia Tech showed an all-out pressure look. 5 defensive backs across the board indicating blitz. Florida State and James Blackman does what he's supposed to do. He gets to his blitz check, but in a gotta-have-it situation, that blitz check is a throw downfield. We saw it earlier in the game. I like that Mike Norvell called timeout because they need a more high percentage completion on a critical down and distance.
You see the struggles that Florida State has had in openers recently. Last 3 opening games have gone south. They were in good shape here with that 10-point lead, and then Georgia Tech came back with the touchdown run from Mason in the 3rd quarter. And came up with Carter's touchdown reception, and then Kelly with the 32-yard field goal to take the lead. And this isn't undermanned Georgia Tech defense without 3 significant starters, and now looking for a stop here on 4th and 3. Motion on the right side of the line. There was movement there, and they've been banged up and shuffling guys around.
Offense number 59, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's Brady Scott.
Just a critical error. I mean, your backup right tackle, Brady Scott, your 6th man within your offensive line rotation. Just can't happen. Your starter, Devontae Love-Taylor, is out, and my goodness, 4th and 8 as opposed to a 4th and 3 is a completely different situation for you as a play caller.
Here it is. 4th and 8. Gotta have it. Blackman trying to weave his way there. Ball is out again. Fumbles at the end of the desperation play, and Brooks recovers it. Ryans had the strip again, and Georgia Tech is going to be in prime position to potentially close things out.
You're going to look at Blackman. His eyes are right down the middle. He's thinking he's going to be able to work it to the right and find Terry. However, if you look at Georgia Tech's structure defensively, they had a safety that was way over the top. They were doubling Tamorion Terry. They said, we're not going to let number 5 beat us. As a result, Blackman got fooled by the pre-snap coverage, tried to make something happen, and as he got across the line of scrimmage, tried to make a guy miss, but the retreat and pursuit from this Yellow Jacket defense brings him down. Huge stop and a great job defensively there by defensive coordinator Andrew Thacker, fooling the quarterback with the coverage look and the pre-snap.
Now the true freshman quarterback back out there with Mason, and you know Mason's going to get fed, and here he goes. Jordan Mason, just what they want, and look at how fired up he is. You know, when we spoke to him the other day, I said, what do you know about this team? He said, I know we aren't 15th in the ACC. Remember, preseason poll, they were down there in the basement. The media said this team's not going to be what anybody thinks they're going to be. There's no hope. Chip on the shoulder, Georgia Tech. Mason looking to deliver here and close things out.
It's really been impressive. I mean, they've made mistakes. They've hung in there. They haven't gotten dejected. They just keep fighting and fighting and fighting, and here they are with the ball trying to put this game on ice.
Here's Mason again. Mason pass midfield. Coming up on 3 minutes to go. She's at crunch time here in Tallahassee. It was the strip sack, the big play as Curtis Ryans knocked it out. David Curry scooped it up, and then young Jude Kelly put it through.
Just a huge 4-play sequence there. Not only was it the strip sack, but the play actually right before that, when the starting right tackle, Devontae Love-Taylor, went down, got injured. As a result, you insert the backup offensive lineman, the backup tackle, Chaz Neal. He gets beat around the edge by Curtis Ryans. He strips it, and there he is, David Curry, snagging that football, setting his offense up with a chance to at least punch it in. Offense doesn't do anything. The Florida State defense, frankly, held there in the red zone after sudden change. But Jude Kelly gets redemption, and the Yellow Jackets the lead after having 3 kicks blocked earlier in the night. He sends the final one through.
Tech has a 1-6 record here in Tallahassee through the years. They had a thriller here in 2009 that looked nothing like this scoreboard. That thing was 49-44. Then, of course, up at their place back in 2015, they had the miracle at Techwood Drive. Not as much on the line here, except for the confidence building and program trajectory. And if Tech holds on, what a boost with this young quarterback they're going to feel. And good surge into the backfield by Leonard Warner. So 3rd and final timeout exhausted by the Noles. 2:57 to play as Georgia Tech will be facing a 3rd and 10.
And I don't know about you, Tess. There's no way on earth I put it in my quarterback's hand to try to throw the ball right here. No chance.
I mean,
Florida State's out of timeout.
Well, cost-benefit analysis there.
Completely.
You know what it is. You know how that ledger plays.
Risk reward, absolutely. No, hand it off. You trust your running backs. At the worst case scenario, you punt it. You got a talented punter. Can potentially pin Florida State deep in their own end with no timeouts, having to drive the length of the field. So no chance right here, given the mistakes he's already made at times early in the ball game. And he's bounced back beautifully from those mistakes Jeff Sims has. But I, without question, am going to hand it off right here. Don't try to do anything too extreme. And if I do throw it, it has to be basically an extended handoff, something very high percentage to keep the clock rolling.
There was some movement there, and there was disaster with the snap as well.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Even the band is masked up. I just love hearing a band at a college football game. It's been tough with some of these pin drop atmospheres. This feels a little different here today, doesn't it? Feels like you're back home in that nice leather chair you have on a Saturday afternoon, watching a good one. As Sims just tries to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And now with no timeouts remaining and the clock counting down for Florida State, Georgia Tech will use every sweet second they can.
I think an interesting dilemma here if you're Florida State. You've blocked 3 kicks, but they've all been field goals.
Yes.
And the risk, I think, like we said, cost-benefit analysis, the risk of trying to come after this kick and potentially get a hand on it is not worth it. I'd play coverage, not try to get too aggressive with the block.
And you don't have a young freshman back there punting. This is Presley Harvin, who, well-experienced guy.
Awesome. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So they do take every second of it. Harvin's got a heck of a leg. Averaged over 44 yards last year. Had 18 inside the 20, 9 inside the 10. And right now, Travis Jay is going to be on the other end. Another flag is down as this bounces out near the 20. Been a busy day for Marcus Woods and this ACC crew, from lightning delays to a lot of calls.
Illegal formation. Kicking team. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
We'll give you 4. We won't give you 5. So the illegal formation. Somebody wasn't up on the line. Jeff Collins would love to have this win. It's a guy who feeds off of recruiting momentum and belief and confidence, and this would get that rolling. So Harvin back out there to punt again. And Jay back at the 19-yard line looking for the return. And he calls for the fair catch, and he secures it at about the 17-yard line. So there's going to be a $1:51 on the clock. Florida State trailing by 3. And remember, Parker Grotehouse, their kicker, hit a 53-yarder earlier.
So if history is any indicator, you have to get to the plus 35. Now, if I'm James Blackman and I'm this offensive staff, whether it's Kenny Dillingham or Mike Norvell, I got to get the drive started. We got to have positive momentum on the 1st and 10 play. So a quick completion or maybe a handoff just to get things going for this offense with their backed up.
Blackman with plenty of time. Blackman downfield and well overthrown as Warren Thompson was trying to stay with it.
I've never agreed with that mindset, taking a shot on 1st and 10. No, I believe in momentum. I think momentum at the college level is the most important aspect of a 2-minute drive. Once you get that defense on their heels a little bit, then you have a chance once you cross the 50 to potentially take a shot. But they have to now get this back to a manageable 3rd down situation. Obvious 4-down territory, so you got plenty of time and plenty of opportunities to get the 1st down, but you got to get the drive started here.
4-man rush. Blackman looking for anything. He goes to Corbin, and Corbin is upended, but not before he gets to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and a long 2 from there.
All right, first thing is be mindful of the sticks right here. 3rd and 2, 1st and 10 is the most important thing. Don't worry about getting a chunk. Just get you a fresh set of downs.
Quick to snap. Blackman, 3rd and 2 to move the chains. Near side, incomplete. Crowd wanted a flag. They thought Walton was wrapped up early. Walton came in defensively for Tech, and it leaves him with a 4th and 2.
It was close. It was bang, bang. I like the no call personally. With how it worked out, I just disagree with the line right here, but game on the line, got to have it.
Here we go, 4th and 2. Florida State to stay alive. Blew a 10-point lead. Now they need a little magic. They got pressure, they pick it up. Blackman to the outside and low for Terry. Incomplete. The defense of Tech does it. Chico Bennett was coming in. You got to go back to 76 for Florida State, losing 4 consecutive openers. And that was Bobby Bowden's first season as head coach here. And did you ever think when it was 10-zip you would see surrender Cobras? Did you ever think that the Garnet and Gold would be in this position against a beat-up Georgia Tech team with a true freshman quarterback, finding themselves in victory kneel-down formation? An incredible way to pull it off. Having faith in the true freshman kicker to give you the go-ahead in the 4th quarter after he had 3 kicks blocked.
Just unbelievable resilience. I mean, hanging in there, finding a way, coming together in the second half to force a couple mistakes and taking full advantage of those mistakes. Just what an effort from Georgia Tech. Jeff Collins has to be so incredibly proud of what he's seen from his team tonight.
Jeff Collins, his 2nd year as the head coach. They are celebrating with a road win to open the season. He said PTBD, that's what we're all about. Just put the ball down. Doesn't matter where we play, who we play. Let's just put that ball down and let's play. Did they ever commit to that in this 4th quarter? Every which way. The defense with turnovers. The offense putting them into position. The young kicker coming up clutch. And Georgia Tech with their first true season-opening road win since 2007. They come to Tallahassee and they upset the Noles. For Katie George, Greg McElroy, and our entire crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your night. Here's Kevin Connors.